Good afternoon from Tampa, Florida, where today the Green Bay Packers go against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Hello, everyone. I'm Don Criqui with Johnny Unitas. The Packers and the Bucs met in the preseason. You recall that Green Bay lost that game 10-7, but Tampa Bay has yet to win in the National Football League regular season in 19 games under John McKay. I think he's feeling some pressure down here. He wants to win very badly. He thinks he can get it today.
They have a real fine defense that Green Bay will have to face. The 3-4 with the Selman brothers, Dave Pierre over the middle. They did not play well last week, which enabled Seattle to beat them.
Now, the Packers are much better than a 1-4 record. Their coach, Bart Starr, says to win regularly, we have to have consistency. Mistakes have cost the Pack football games.
Well, they have played consistent football defensively, Donald, but offensively they leave an awful lot to be desired.
Now we have the two teams coming out onto the playing field, a natural grass field here at Tampa Stadium, an excellent field. The Green Bay Packers to your left wearing the white jerseys, yellow hats, yellow pants. They'll be receiving to start the game as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who are now 0-19 in the National Football League since they came into the league as an expansion team a season ago. The ball teed up. Green will hit the ball, and going back deep now for the Green Bay Packers, as the deep man in their receiving alignment is Steve Odom. There is Dave Green ready to kick it off. Excellent day for football. Oh, John, this wind could be a factor.
Wind coming out.
The gusting.
Keeps the nose of the ball down a little bit. Other than that, I don't think it's too much of a factor, Donald.
Odom takes the ball in his end zone and wisely elects not to bring it out as Green hit it 8 yards deep into the end zone. There's a gusting wind. It's very difficult to really tell where it's coming at. That was obviously behind the football, and there is the offensive line of the Packers. Mark Concar is going to be an all-pro one day. Excellent left tackle. Steve Knutson in there with him. The Packers are playing with some wounded men out there, and there's the wide men, Bataha and Odom. Rich McGeorge will be the tight end. Bataha comes out way wide to the right. Lynn Dickey at quarterback. Barty Smith is one setback. Willard Harrell is starting at the other, and Smith goes to the run right away, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers shut it down quickly. Green Bay is only averaging 2.9 yards per rush, and it's very difficult to win unless you can control the ball with a better average than that.
An interesting point, talking to Coach Zeke Bukowski this morning. Zeke said that they have taken the duties of calling the plays away from Len Dickey. They will be called by Zeke Bukowski and Coach Bart Starr on the sideline. It's not a slap on a hand to him. It's just a matter that they would rather get some of the things done they want to do and do more repetition of them.
Packers. Penalty marker did not go down. Looked like there might be motion. Here is a swing pass. Willard Harrell has the football on a first down. He is across the 35. And Willard Harrell dances out and gets out of bounds out across the 40 to the 41. One official went to his hip like he was going for the yellow flag. The Packers started to move. Then they got back in their set in time. Watch this now, John.
Nothing surprising about that. Just putting the good offensive back on a linebacker, as you saw. Picked the ball, made some good yardage. Harrell, who last year led Green Bay in rushing last season, has not gained more than 53 yards in his last 13 ball games. So he's really not having a good year.
Right now, they come out quickly. The Packers get the big gain. The ball is spotted just short of the 40. Second back through is Willard Harrell running hard into that 3-4. Tampa Bay defense. Willard Harrell is knocked down after a pickup of 2, perhaps 3 yards. The last 2 years, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have had the #1 selection in the NFL draft. Their first pick in their rookie season was, of course, the great Leroy Selman out of Oklahoma. He's number 63. Plays the defensive right end. He is outstanding. And, of course, last year, finishing with the 0-14 record, they got the #1 pick again. They went for Ricky Bell, a Southern California running back who's been out much of the season with a shoulder problem. He is expected back today. There's no score in the first quarter. Lynn Dickey takes a look deep. Leroy Selman can't get him, and now Barty Smith gets the ball and puts inside the 30. Barty Smith in a foot race is tripped up at the 14-yard line. Coming down to catch him from behind was Curtis Jordan, but the Packers open it up, sending wide receivers to either side, and then the big back swings over the middle and is wide open.
Adam, just take a look at it. Play deserves another look. A fine throw by Dickey. Barty Smith going right down between linebackers. As you see, the throw by Len Dickey right between two linebackers. Barty Smith picks it up, picks up some good yardage. It's 1st and 10 for Green Bay on the 15.
So now the Packers are mounting a challenge early in the first quarter with no score. The temperature is about 72 degrees. The Packers are moving into a gusty wind. but Dickey has hit both his throws into it. Second back through is Willard Harold. He is hit hard by the middle guard, Dave Pear, and knocked back. Council Rudolph, Dave Pear, and Leroy Selman are the defensive front three of Tampa Bay. David Lewis, Dewey Selman, Cecil Johnson, and Richard Wood. The four-man backup men at the linebacking positions. Jarris White, Mike Washington at the corners. Curtis Jordan and Cedric Brown are the safeties for Tampa Bay, a team that has been applauded for its defensive effort until last week. And the Buccaneers gave up 30 points in losing at Seattle. Second and 9. Packers having trouble running on first down straight ahead, but they've thrown the ball well. And here is Lynn Dickey taking a look again, swings it out. Quick pass goes to Vataha, and he is down inside the 10, close to the 8-yard line. Randy Vataha on a quick out to the little wide receiver, gets the ball and dances in for yardage.
Actually, it was a quick out. It was supposed to be a quick screen with the tackle and the guard pulling to the outside. Vataha elected to go downfield instead of coming up behind his offensive interference.
We have 11:40 to play in the first quarter here at Tampa Bay Stadium. The Green Bay Packers, after taking the opening kickoff and starting out from their 20-yard line, have advanced the ball now down to the 9-yard line. Actually, almost to the 8. On 3rd and 4, they go to the draw. There's a free football out there. Willard Harold falls on it. So there is the inconsistency that Coach Bart Starr has lamented as the Packers can't make it work, and now they send their field goal unit out, and Willard Harold is down. That one just didn't work. Look at it again here, John.
Take a look at the draw here by Willard Harold. Very fine play.
Dave Pear threw him down.
Right, and when he threw him down, he popped the ball up, but the ball came right back down to his arms again. He may have got hit twice on that.
Now Chester Markall is in to try the field goal attempt for Green Bay. He is 4 for 6 so far this year, as Willard Harold is still down on the field with 11:14 to play in the first quarter. On August 20th, these two teams met. It was Tampa Bay's first victory as they beat the Packers in preseason play 10-7. Not shortly thereafter, they also beat the Baltimore Colts, did Tampa, 14-0. So they've got some ability, and they're well overdue.
Got bad seats. What? Yeah, I don't know who he's trying to holler at. Picking the wrong guy if he is.
We're happy to report that Willard Harold walked off the field under his own power, and he was incensed about something. They wouldn't had to break away from the guys trying to help him off. He's pointing at one of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Looked like Dave Pear. I admire his courage, but his judgment's kind of off right there.
Here's a 31-yard attempt by Markall. He's into the ball nicely into the wind, but he is wide to the left. So Chester Markall hitting the football into a gusting, swirling wind cannot make it work. The Packer drive, which included 3 for 3 passing by Lynn Dickey for 68 yards, comes up dry. And on the touchback, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers go on offense first and 10 at their 20. This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League and is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the National Football League is prohibited. Gary Huff, the former Chicago Bears, the quarterback, pitches back to Anthony Davis. And the running back out of Southern California, John McKay, has 7 former USC players in his roster here at Tampa Bay. Rips off a gainer for about 5 yards. Here is the offensive setup for the Tampa Bay team. That has been their biggest problem. They haven't gotten offensive blocking. John McKay, the coach's son, is on one flank as a wide receiver. Morris Owens is the other. And there are the backs. Jimmy DeBose is starting at fullback. We should see Ricky Bell, though. He's been out for 3 games with a deep shoulder bruise, but Bell worked out hard this week and is in uniform. It is 2nd and 5 now. Handoff right up the middle, and the Packers shut it down. Running with the ball was Ed Williams, who came in, alternating at fullback with DeVos, and Williams got out across the 25-yard line. They'll mark him at the 27. It brings up a 3rd down and 3. Packers have problems on defense. Very fine outside linebacker Gary Weaver is out, knee trouble. Also out of this game is Dave Roller, who has a torn muscle in his calf. So at the moment, we have Mike Butler, Clarence Williams, Dave Purifori, and Bob Barber across the defensive front of Green Bay. Toner, Carter, and Carr back to line as Huff puts it up. Throws in the coverage. Let's see, that ball might have been caught. Apparently it was. This guy caught 9 last week against Seattle, Morris Owens. A very fleet wide receiver from Arizona State.
And his offensive line doing a fine job of protecting again, as they did all last week. There's the throw to Morris Owens, a fine reception by Morris Owens. John, last week the offensive line did a fine job for Gary Huff, protecting and opening some holes up for Anthony Davis as well.
Willie Buchanan and MC McCoy are at the corners for Green Bay. Steve Luke and Johnny Gray are the guards. Here is the pitch back. Second back is Anthony Davis. And the Packers knocked him down hard. The big defensive play there was made by number 70, Bob Barber. He shot through and held up Anthony Davis, and then Fred Carr leveled him. But Barber had the primary hit, and so the Buccaneers lose 1.5 yards on the play. Will make it 2nd and 12. Roller is out at left tackle. He is not in uniform, out with a strained calf muscle. Toner starting for Weaver at one linebacker. Carter and Carr the other two. Clarence Big Cat Williams is playing the left tackle, number 83. In motion goes DeVos. First back through up the middle is Anthony Davis, the man who was runner-up in the Heisman Trophy balloting, then signed to play in Canada. He gets ahead for not very much. Got back the lost yardage on his previous carry, so it'll be 3rd down and 10 now for Tampa Bay.
I think Green Bay is going to have to be concerned about Anthony Davis going wide, and they have to remember that Anthony Davis also can throw the football, especially coming back to his left side.
That's right. He can put it up. He was a high school quarterback and a Major League Baseball prospect as a shortstop, so he's got the good arm. It is 3rd down and 10, and Tampa Bay is going to do anything they can to pull a football game out here. Here comes Johnny Gray on the blitz, and Huff wisely dumps the ball off. Packers throwing some change-ups. Fred Carr says, hey, that's a free football back there, but it was a forward pass. As Huff saw the blitz coming, both safeties were coming.
Both of them were coming. I guess he did not have a chance to audibilize and get out of it, and he did the wise thing, just throw the football away as to come up with a sack and lose some yardage.
Dave Green is now in the game to punt for Tampa Bay. He'll be punting with that wind behind him. We have 7:48 to play in the first quarter. There's no score. The Packers went 68 yards their first possession, but could not put up points as a 31-yard field goal by Mark Hall was wide. Now they'll get it back. Harrell moves up to the football. The wind takes it way downfield. Willard Harrell has a problem, and down he goes right where he fielded the ball at the 23-yard line. And so the Packers will go on offense for a second time here in the first quarter. We have a timeout on the field with 7:39 to play in the first quarter, and the score remains the Packers nothing, the Buccaneers nothing.
Yeah, put ISO on Odom on his first play. 84, I think, or 86. 86.
We don't have boxing next week? I don't have the right copy for that. Okay, I got it now. I got it. Some wild action coming up next Saturday on the CBS Sports Spectacular at 3:30 Central Time, including the World Motorcycle Jumping Championships. Some Daredevils will be going after things like leaps of 100 feet over 20 cars, and then they'll up it to 110 feet over 22 cars for a lot of prize money. That's next Saturday at 3:30 Central Time on the CBS Sports Spectacular. Packers go to the run. Eric Torkelson in the backfield gets the football and gets it out across the 25-yard line. He picked up about 3 yards. It'll be second down, a long 7 for Green Bay. John, what do you think so far? The Packers have been quite predictable on first down. They like to run the ball. They've really opened up their passing game, at least so far in the first quarter.
Well, so far the coaches right now are calling the plays, and I'm sure they want to get some repetition and try to establish that ground game. Most coaches, most teams in the National Football League now like to play the go with the run and establish that ground game first before they do anything else.
Dickey puts it up on the run, and going for the football and unable to hold on for Green Bay was Ali Smith, wide receiver out of Tennessee State. Cedric Brown was covering. Let's watch the good coverage.
There's a rollout by Dickey to the right. You see the linebackers dropping back, getting in the way of the offensive receivers. Fine defensive play by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and they have been playing extremely good defensive secondary-wise. They've already had 8 interceptions this year, when last year for the whole season they only had 9.
Interceptions have been a problem for Lynn Dickey, though, for Green Bay. He's been picked off 10 times in the first 5 games this season. But he's not shy today, gunning it right up the middle again, and he's got Eric Torkelson, who's out across the 35-yard line for a first down. Apparently, we're getting a revolve where the safeties are rolling out to double up on the wide receivers at Green Bay, and that middle is wide open, and the Green Bay backs are just beating the Tampa Bay linebackers.
What we're getting down there, Donald, is a double zone coverage by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and the backs are coming out or playing one-on-one on the linebackers, as you see right here. Torkelson coming down underneath the fullback who goes to the outside, and sort of a type of a pick play, which are able to pick up the first down.
So the Packers pitch it back now. And again, Tampa Bay knocks down the run quite nicely. Mike Washington came across to make the hit on Willard Harrell.
Interesting statistic on Dickey, and he has only won 7 of his 24 starting assignments. Not a very good average.
There is Bart Starr looking on with Zeke Bratkowski and Bill Curry. Second down and about 11 now, just over 10 for the Green Bay Packers. Dickey takes a deep drop, good pass blocking, gets it away, but a penalty marker is down as he hits Eric Torkelson. And Torkelson is out across the 45 and close to another first down, but we'll have to see what the call is because Selman was coming hard and he might have been held. Dave Lewis, another Southern California linebacker, the number 2 draft choice of Tampa Bay in the last draft, was the man who made the hit. So we have here, John, it's in the Green Bay backfield. The Packers are opening up their passing game. Dickey has been very effective throwing the ball, particularly to his backs. They got an overmatch there. The Green Bay backs are able to beat the Tampa Bay linebackers, at least so far. We still have no score on the board with 5:30 to play in the first quarter.
Now, where the backs are doing, the linebackers are dropping deep, and the backs are coming across the face of the defense, catching the ball in front of the linebackers. Linebackers are going to have to hold before dropping back. Watch those backs coming out of the field. They're just a little too anxious to help back deep in the secondary.
Apparently the call is going to be against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It'll be declined.
Side, defense, decline, first down.
There you have it. Dick Jorgensen, the referee. It was offside against Tampa Bay, and so the Pack gets the big gainer to Torkelson. And again, they move on. They're keeping the chain markers moving. Maintaining possession as they have the ball out to their 47 now. First and 10 and no score.
Dickey is 5 for 6 right now at 87 yards.
In motion goes Odom. Torkelson takes the fake, and they swing it out to Vataha. There's that wide receiver screen. Nicely defensed by the Buccaneers. Number 54 coming over to make the hit, one of the outside linebackers, Richard Wood, a 3-time All-American at Southern California. There was a gain, however, on the play of 3 yards, almost 4, make it second down and 6.
Good reaction by the defensive team of Tampa, getting back out into that screen. Richard Wood, an outstanding linebacker with good quickness.
Packers' first possession, they moved 68 yards only to miss a 31-yard field goal, and now they're driving into the Tampa Bay defense again. A straight power run as the big fullback Barty Smith, who leads the Packers in both receiving and in rushing, goes right ahead behind the right side of his offensive line. Mel Jackson and Larry McCarron opened it up. Packers have injury problems. Dick Himes, normally the right tackle, is hurt right now. Greg Cook is in there. He's going to be a great one, they say. The Packers' #2 draft choice out of Arkansas. They're very pleased with him. Now they're going with 2 tight ends, Green Bay. On 3rd and 2, Axon is in along with Rich McGeorge. In motion goes Odom. Second back through, and running hard is Torkelson. Ooh, he got the head-on hit, but he got the first down. Eric Torkelson, a slashing runner out of Connecticut, comes off tackle and gets the first down for Green Bay, and the Packers now have the ball down to the 42-yard line of Tampa Bay.
Good outstanding line play that time by the Green Bay Packers, actually taking the play to the Bucs, moving them out. Torkelson picking the hole, picking up the first down.
So the Packers break the huddle now. Wide to the left goes Odom. Wide to the right goes Vataha. Deep back in the I set is Torkelson. Packers putting a lot of motion at the Tampa Bay defense. That time they go right at the Buccaneers. There's not much there. Tampa Bay's front 3 plays the run very well. Dave Pear, a former Baltimore Colt, #76, is the guy who made the hit. He's an incredible physical specimen. He first showed up here at Tampa Bay. They were going through weight training, and he pressed 350 pounds 17 times in a row, and then did 30 chin-ups.
That helps if he can play football. That's right.
Lynn Dickey takes a look. Here comes Leroy Selman. Dickey swings it out to Rich McGeorge, and the big guy from Elon College crashes down to the 33-yard line. Richard Wood knocked him down. I'll tell you one thing, there's some guys hitting each other out there.
Well, they mean business this afternoon. Both teams would love to win this football game. Unfortunately, they both can't. One of them will have a win by the end of the season. This was a screen to the tight end. Watch Dickey as he hesitates, drawing the defense in on him. You see McGeorge going out, getting behind his offensive blockers and picking a hole, picking up some good yardage.
Packer offense, except for the one mistake when they had trouble with a pitch back on a 3rd down close to the Tampa Bay goal line, has looked very effective today. An excellent passing game, a lot of motion in the offense. Here is another run as Torkelson cuts off right tackle. And Torkelson knocks it down close to the 30-yard line, and he has another Green Bay first down. The Packers have not had good statistics converting 3rd downs, but they're moving on a good Tampa Bay defense. After the Washington Redskins came in here and beat Tampa Bay 10-0, Dyron Talbert of the Redskins said that is a championship defense they have down there at Tampa.
There we take a look at John McKay looking on, drinking a little Coca-Cola down there, wondering where his defensive football team is going to be able to stop Green Bay today.
John McKay somewhat under the gun here. Some fan polls that have been taken by newspapers and radio stations have not been very complimentary of McKay, as you would expect they would not be after losing 19 straight games. And now the Tampa Bay defense comes in and gets the sack as they shot a linebacker, and coming in to make the play was Paul Harris along with Dave Lewis.
Little play action pass by Len Dickey, faking the fullback, going back. The defensive secondary doing a real fine job, not letting anyone open very, very quickly. As you see the rush on Glenn Dickey, who goes down in a foul. And I believe he hurt himself a little on that one. He's walking off the side of the field right now, and then we have official timeout.
Glenn Dickey has been the Packers quarterback all the way this season. Of course, he is backed up by a first-year player out of Furman, David Whitehurst, who Bart Starr thinks very highly of, an 8th-round draft choice. Starr doesn't think you have to come in the first couple rounds to be a good quarterback in this league. He came in the 17th, and you didn't come in any round, John Unitas.
Wait a minute now.
Both in the Hall of Fame. You weren't drafted, were you?
Well, I certainly was. Number 9 by Pittsburgh Steelers. Do you see how much you know, Cricky?
But they cut you, though.
Well, certainly. I came from the Sandlot.
The famous story, was it really a 40-cent phone call?
40-cent phone call? Right, and I had to pay for it, too.
All right, it's still a 0-0 game here at Tampa Bay. We'll be back in a moment. Fine.
Good. What down we get?
Selman,
2nd and
63,
19.
the right end.
Let's watch some line play. Get on Concord. What's number 79?
Yeah, that's a matchup, isn't it?
Mark Concar, yeah. Yeah, he's playing on Selman.
Who is that 48? We got to find out who 48 is. The Packer announcers don't know. Nathan Simpson. You sure his name is Nathan? I don't think it's Nathan. Okay. Well, I got some winners here at Tampa Bay.
They're all winners. All winners. Look at that. No wonder Earl Flynn likes playing the Pirates.
2nd and 19, and David Whitehurst is in at quarterback now, and Barty Smith is chopped down. That was Leroy Selman. Number 63, as Lynn Dickey, who's thrown very effectively, was shaken up. Hit very hard a bit earlier. He walked off under his own power, but Bart Starr is lucky to go with his backup quarterback, David Whitehurst, the rookie out of Furman. They like everything about Whitehurst. He's got good size, 6'2", 208 pounds. He's a good runner, strong arm, quick learner. I think he's going to be a player, and right now he's got to come in and fill the breach. As Dickey is out, we don't know for how long in this scoreless first quarter. Packers have a 3rd and 19 coming up. Whitehurst goes to the draw, and Torkelson rips it open. A big play for Green Bay, and Torkelson is going to be a couple of yards short of a first down. So on 3rd and 19, the Pack goes to the draw, and Eric Torkelson had a big road to go on.
Fine call by the bench of the Packers, expecting a pass. The Bucks were way back deep. As you see, Torkelson taking the draw, good blocking up front by his offensive line, picks up enough for a first down. Excellent call, excellent choice of plays.
Now another Packers off the field shaken up. Greg Cook has just gone out. Knutson, the normal left guard, is not starting today. Bob Kolakowski's in his stead. He's shaken up. And now, as the Packers come up with a 4th and 2 play when we return, the first quarter has come to an end. No score here at Tampa Bay.
Make the first down.
Now Chester Marco's on the field for his 2nd field goal attempt. This time he'll have the wind at his back. It is a gusting wind, some swirl to it. The flag right now isn't about that much. So the wind has died down. It'll be a 40-yard attempt. He missed from 31 yards out, shooting the other way earlier. Now as we open the 2nd quarter, Marco looks to break this scoreless tie. He's got enough distance. Chester Marco puts up 3 points, and the Green Bay Packers take the lead 3-0. A 40-yard field goal by Chester Marco as the Green Bay Packers move 58 yards in 15 plays. They possess the ball for 7 minutes and 40 seconds, so they're doing on offense what they want to do, and they have the lead. Are we going to New York? With Johnny Unitas, this is Don Criqui back at Tampa Bay, Florida. Chester Markall has just put up the first points of the game on the opening play of the second quarter, a 40-yard field goal. Now he kicks off, hits it low. The ball is squibbed downfield. Coming over to pick it up for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers is Isaac Haggins, and the Green Bay Packers sweep him under at about the 20. We don't have a report yet on Lynn Dickey, who was shaken up, walked off the field, seemingly with no problem, but apparently took a hard rep on the head, and Bart Starr wanted to sit him down for a while. And David Whitehurst, the rookie, came in to quarterback the Packers and set up their first points of the game. The big play on that drive, of course, was the draw play on 3rd and 19. Eric Torkelson ripping off a 17-yard gainer to set up the field goal by Markall. Ricky Bell is now in the game. Ricky Bell breaking off across the 25 and out to the 30, and Ricky Bell has knocked down a pickup of almost 10 yards. Willie Buchanan cut him down. There is Bell from Southern California. 6'2", 218 pounds. He's got the speed of a breakaway runner, and he can run right over you.
Good play by the Bucs. Excellent blocking at the point of attack. As you see, Bell picking a hole very, very good. He's a very, very strong runner. From his waist down, he has tremendously large legs. A really good leg drive.
Gained almost 3,700 yards in 4 seasons at USC in the Pac-8. Now, Huff takes a look. Here's the big rush, and the Packers knock down Gary Huff all the way back at the 20. Clarence Williams coming in from the left tackle, called on the start there with the injury to Dave Roller, and down goes Gary Huff, and the boos start to carry him off the cavernous stadium here, Tampa Bay, a crowd of about 50,000. This team has been averaging 58,700 per game. Considering they haven't won a ball game, that's pretty remarkable.
It's Clarence Williams' first start as a defensive tackle. He came in last week for Dave Roller, made a few good stops and 1 or 2 sacks of the quarterback.
Now penalty markers go down as on long yardage. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers go to the draw play. Running with the football was Ed Williams, big fullback, 240-pounder out of Langston College. Williams knocked him down, but there are 3 penalty markers down.
Well, we just have to wait and see. It probably looked like a holding penalty or something in that offensive line of the Bucs. That's what it was. Offside nullifying penalties. A holding penalty by the Bucs and offside penalty of Packers.
Holding, number 79, offense, offsides, defense. They lined up, offsides, offset, second down.
Steve Wilson, number 79, the left guard, is called for the hold, and so we'll have second down coming up and 19. Packers takes the down. It is 3-0 Green Bay. Running with the ball, and not very far is Ricky Bell. Looking to move into the middle of the Packer defense. They closed it right down, John.
Good defensive play by the Packers. That's when Huff was tackled the last time, and that was the first time he's been tackled for a couple of ball games. Last week he was not tackled at all while attempting to pass. And really it's the first time that Tampa has not had its quarterback stumped during the season. So their offensive line doing a fine job for them all last week, and so far so good today.
We'll be updating scores from around the NFL and after this play, as we have 3rd and long coming up now. The Packers going with 5 defensive backs as Huff drops to throw. Gets some time, triggers it out, and it's too high for Ed Williams. And so, Tampa Bay's offense comes up short. They'll have to punt the ball back to Green Bay with the Packers in the lead 3-0. Cincinnati and Denver are tied 7-7 in the first quarter at Cincinnati. Pete Johnson on a run for the Bengals to lead it off. John Keywood scored for Denver. Seattle leads Miami down at the Orange Bowl 3-0 on a John Lightpole field goal in the first quarter. Washington leads the Giants 3-0 on a first quarter field goal by Mark Mosley. And Buffalo leads Cleveland 7-0 in the first quarter. Joe Ferguson to Reuben Gant. Right now, Oakland is just leading the New York Jets 14-13. High scoring game. They are in the first quarter at New York. Johnny Gray looks for room to run, and down goes Johnny Gray at about the 31-yard line. So the Packers, who've had a drive from their own area of the field on each possession, are ready to do that again now as they send their offensive unit out. We'll see if Lynn Dickey comes in. He is not. Whitehurst is still in the game. So we have a timeout with the score Green Bay 3 and Tampa Bay nothing.
Well, let's go with Rich McGeorge on his first play, all right? See what he does.
Get this filled with ice, will you please? Just ice. Thank you. It's 10:30 Central Time, right? Next Friday night at 10:30 Central Time, you'll see a rematch of the two teams that went after it for the NBA championship last spring. The Philadelphia 76ers with Julius Erving leading the way against Bill Walton and the Portland Trail Blazers at Friday night at 10:30 Central Time here on CBS NBA Basketball. It is 1st and 10 for the Green Bay Packers in the second quarter. They lead the game 3-0. 12:49 to play in the first half. Don Criqui with Johnny Unitas from Tampa, Florida. The Packers have Lynn Dickey back in at quarterback now. During the timeout, he came back on the field after being shaken up earlier. He goes to the run on first down, and the Packers make it work. As they get ahead for 4 yards, that makes it 2nd down and 6, and that gives Dickey some nice options.
Green Bay has been mixing the pass and the run on first down, which is a great throwing down. Doing that, keeping the defense off balance, not knowing whether to go with a run or for the pass-type defense. And it's been working very, very well for them.
You like to throw in first down, John?
I've always felt the first down was the easiest one to throw on. When you have to get back in there and throw it when it's 3rd and 16 and you got 15 guys back, that makes it a little difficult.
Eric Torkelson takes a very hard hit from Jarris White. The left cornerback Dave Pear, the middle guard, was the lead tackler on the play. A short gain. It brings up 3rd down and 3 yards to go for the first down for Green Bay. Actually, a little less than 3. The ball is out to the Packers' 39-yard line. Green Bay leading it on a 40-yard Chester Markall field goal to open up the second quarter. That's all the points we have up so far. Packers have controlled the ball throughout the first half. The Taha comes wide to the left as Lynn Dickey takes a look downfield. The big rush, and down goes Lynn Dickey. Coming on the blitz was Cecil Johnson, a rookie linebacker out of Pittsburgh, 56. He was coming on a blitz, and nobody touched him.
I'll tell you what. Somebody ought to get out there and do something for him. Someone blew an assignment there somewhere, a back or an offensive man. You see that offensive man coming out of the backfield should have taken a piece out of that linebacker because he just took a piece out of the quarterback. Cecil Johnson, number 56, and brother, I can tell you that hurts.
Hey, wait a minute, lose the quarterback real quick with that. With blitzing linebacker, nobody touches him coming from the blind side. David Beverly punts and gets off an excellent punt, a long spiral. It drives Isaac Haggins back to his 10. A penalty marker's down as Haggins turns the corner and is hit and driven back on a picture tackle. Coming down to make the hit for Green Bay on the play was Andra Thompson, number 43. But there is a penalty marker down.
Beverly hit that one well, and he's the leading punter in the NFC with a 42.52-yard average. So that could add to it, unless it's a penalty against the Packers.
Penalty on the play.
Looks like it might be a clip because the Buccaneers are falling back.
That was a 61-yard kick in the air. Beautifully done.
Very unusual wind currents as you look across high above the stadium. Across from us, the American flag is not blowing at all, and yet you can feel gusting winds. And at the other end of the field, we see a flag straight out. We're currently going to have offsetting penalties here, Johnny, and we're going to bring it back, and Beverly will have to try it again. So a 61-yard punt by David Beverly is negated. Now the Dolphins have gone in front of Seattle 7-3. In the second quarter, Bob Greasy threw to Nat Moore for a touchdown from 12 yards out.
Those glasses certainly have helped Bob Greasy, haven't they?
Coach Schuler
Personal foul, 77 clip on the run back. Decline. Illegal cut. before the ball was kicked on the defense, accepted, first down.
Very good explanation of the rules. Guy knows his rule book, doesn't he? They all do. So we have offsetting penalties. Packers come out now. The crowd starts to boo as the Packers have a first down at their 35-yard line. Marty Smith and Eric Torkelson in. Penalty goes against Tampa Bay as Torkelson turns the corner and is knocked down at the 37-yard line. A pickup of only 2.
Torkelson and Smith, very good runners, and not real fast, but you know, the heavy-duty type runner, over tackle type stuff, and they do a real fine job with it. And that's the type of runners Bart Starr likes to have back there in that backfield.
So the ball will be at Green Bay's 37-yard line. The Packers lead the game 3-0. Marty Smith is in the backfield now, along with Nate Simpson, number 48. Here's Ollie Smith in motion. Lynn Dickey takes a look on 2nd and 8, gets it away, and tries to get it over the middle to Simpson, who was cutting in, trying to beat the linebackers. You see the ball comes in low. It's 3rd and 8, and so now you'll see Mr. Selman and his friends tee off.
Dickey hurried that ball a little bit. One of the defensive linemen came free in there, and he wanted to get rid of it before he took another shot. And as you saw, the results of it was thrown into the ground.
Dickey has not been intercepted today, but he is tied for the NFC lead in that area with Ron Jaworski of the Eagles with 10. Believe it or not, Ken Stabler is the leader after throwing 7 last week. Many of them not his fault. He's got 12 for the season. Dickey gets time. He better hurry. Then Dickey meets Mr. Leroy Selman. But Dickey certainly had time to get the ball away. You can credit the Tampa Bay pass coverage for that sack, as they held off Selman. Finally, if you leave in 5 seconds, he's going to get you.
Let's take a look at Selman coming in right here.
Against Concar.
On Concar, who's going to be a fine offensive tackle. Here you see the strength of Selman as he took Concar back and then just kind of flipped him over. Came back up underneath to get Dickey.
Fairness to Concar, he did his job.
He was in front of him. The defensive secondary is the one who caused that one. They had fine coverage on the receivers downfield.
Now here's Beverly to punt again. Gets it off, not that deep this time. Isaac Haggins at the 19-yard line. Looks for blockers, and he is picked off from behind. A good play for the Packers. Coming up on the coverage was Terry Randolph, number 23. Bueno was also down. And so Tampa Bay goes on offense 1st and 10. We have 9:51 to play in the first half here at Tampa. And the score remains the Green Bay Packers 3, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers nothing.
Baltimore score yet?
Fine.
Yeah, I guess who's Bell? Go with Ricky Bell if he's in there. Yeah, let's see what he does.
He's in there. Be very careful not to get these things wet. You keep the glasses out the hell out of here. I don't want these things wet.
Penalty.
This is Don Criqui with Johnny Unitas back at Tampa, Florida. Next week, lots more regional action on National Football League coverage. Here on CBS, the Vikings and the Falcons tee it up in Atlanta. The Eagles go against the Redskins at Washington. The Packers and the Bears play next week. That's got to be one of the great rivalries in the history of this league. Detroit and Dallas. Los Angeles goes at New Orleans. And Tampa Bay goes out to San Francisco. Maybe nobody will win that one. Nobody's won between those two teams so far. Both 0-5. Green Bay is in the lead here in the second quarter, 3-0 on a Mark Hall field goal from 40 yards out. He missed one his first attempt, 31 yards out. Tampa Bay's not been close to a score. Good defense by the Packers as Ricky Bell tries to come wide. He's cut down by the free safety, Johnny Gray. Bell had a lot of injury problems last year, his senior year at USC, and he was hurt again this year.
There's a good look at Bell coming up. Lewis Carter on a very fine block to open a hole up for Ricky Bell as he picks up 4 yards.
So the Buccaneers come out with Gary Huff at quarterback. They've had a lot of problems at quarterback. Their starter, Mike Barilla, went out for the season with a knee injury in preseason play. Bell slanting back. Looked a little like OJ the way he cut back, tucked that ball up high. A lot of upper body strength. He gets out only to the 35-yard line. There it's going to be third down and a long 4. On the stop for the Green Bay Packers was Dave Purifori, the right tackle. Bart Starr. Who quarterbacked 5 championship teams at Green Bay. And who now, along with our friend Mr. Unitas, is Canton, Ohio. Dan Pastorini has just thrown to Mike Barber from 5 yards out. And Houston leads Pittsburgh 7-0.
Houston means business this year, evidently.
All right. Got bushwhacked last week in their home arena, though, by Cleveland. Third and a long 4 for the Buccaneers. Gary Huff gets some time, puts it up. Good coverage by the Packers. Oh, they're going to call it on M.C. McCoy. Are they going to call it on the wide receiver? Apparently they are. John McKay, the coach's son, 89, will get the official ruling. M.C. McCoy came right in as the ball was delivered. If it's against the defense, of course, it would be an automatic first down at the point of infraction, which is the 42-yard line of Tampa Bay. Apparently that's what it's going to be.
He's draped all over his back, as you can well see right there. And McKay has caught
Defense.
one
First
pass
down.
in each ball game so far since he's been here. He's a fine receiver, not very big. They don't have too big of receivers, but he's got good moves, good quicknesses.
First back through, Ricky Bell meets headlong into Mike Butler, the big #1 draft choice out of Kansas. That didn't get a thing. It'll be 2nd and 10 at the 42-yard line of Tampa Bay. The clock is running in the second quarter. We have 8 minutes and 10 seconds to play in the first half, and Green Bay continues to lead the game 3-0.
Green Bay again playing fine defensive football all season long. Really have kept the Green Bay team in most of these football games. The only team they really were outdone against was Minnesota. And so far this afternoon, they're playing extremely well.
Gary Huff has the highest interception rate of any quarterback in the NFC, as Lewis Carter, a running back out of Maryland, number 32, runs with the ball, and not very far again as the Packers again close down the run. Clarence Williams ran him down, and so we have third down and 11 coming up for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and you can't fault Gary Huff for having a low passing completion percentage throwing from this kind of.
Well, they're not. They're doing a. They're not mixing it up really enough just yet, but I'm sure they'll get to it.
Tomorrow night on CBS, the Bing Crosby special. As on 3rd and 11, the ball is fired out in the flat. It is incomplete. Good coverage afforded again. Coming up to make the play from the Green Bay secondary was Terry Randolph, as the Packers were in a 5 defensive back formation. Lewis Carter swinging out of the backfield, and so the Tampa Bay offense comes up short again. And they'll have to punt the football back to the Packers. Packers have dominated the game offensively. They've gone up and down the field their first 2 possessions, missed a field goal the first time they had the ball, then hit one from 40 yards, but their time of possession has been very dominant in the game, although they only lead 3-0. Johnny Gray is back deep now for the Packers, standing at his 19-yard line. Dave Green hits the ball at his 33, a poor punt, a line drive. This will come back at Tampa Bay. Gray fields it on the run, and Johnny Gray breaks across the 40. And he's not done yet as he's all the way out to midfield. So the Packers start out this drive with their best opening field position of the game so far, with 6:57 to play in the first half. Lynn Dickey and the Packer offense comes back out on the field, looking to move the ball again with that very diverse offense they've displayed so far.
let's go home. No, not really. Nobody's doing anything on it. You want to get some line play, let's put it on 29 and Selman. 79 Concar and Selman to get some line play in there, see what they're doing.
This is Saturday, November 5. We're calling it Championship Saturday. On November 5th here on CBS, you'll see a great lineup of events, starting off with the televised finals live from Mission Hills, California, of the Championship of Women's Tennis. 8 of the top 10 women will compete, including Chris Evert, the 1977 U.S. Open champion, Virginia Way, the 1977 Wimbledon champion. Then you'll see the World Middleweight Boxing Championship, Rodrigo Valdez versus Benny Briscoe. Both those fighters are accorded championship holdings by different rating services, the WBC and the WBA. And you'll also see one of the big horse races of the year, the Laurel International, live from Laurel Racetrack in Maryland. Some of the top thoroughbreds from around the world matched up in that one. Lynn Dickey, home run ball, going long. Odom is out there. It's intercepted. The ball was thrown very long and very deep, but Mike Washington, a second-year cornerback out of Alabama, an All-American for Bear Bryant, went up in the air higher than Odom did and came down with a football.
Ball was thrown very poorly by Dickey. He turned around, looked one way, and came back. Let's take a look at Dickey as he goes back, sets up, he pumps to his right, and then just hauls off and throws as far as he can. His offensive man had no one beaten, and the Tampa Bay comes up with their 9th interception of the season.
In effect, it worked out like a good punt for Green Bay, though, as Tampa Bay starting out at their own 12. They've not moved the football at all. This time they do, as Jimmy DeBose rips it out, running to the inside, then dancing back outside, and he moves his way out to the 20-yard line, a pickup of 8 yards. On a tackle for Green Bay on the play was Willie Buchanan, number 28.
Some good offensive line play by the Bucks down there that time, opening up the hole for Du Bois as he came out and picked up some good yardage. And now the offensive line is starting to move the Packers back a little.
Washington now leads Giants 6-0 in the second quarter. Philadelphia leads Dallas 7-0 on a Ron Jaworski touchdown pass. Miami's out in front of Seattle 14-3 in the second quarter as Ed Williams gets the call, and he is quickly knocked down by Clarence Williams. But he got the first down. A short gainer, but it's good for first down yardage for Tampa Bay, and they haven't had many of those.
They sure haven't. Williams is a fine runner. He's also an excellent blocker, along with Ricky Bell when he's in there. He really puts some pressure on the people when he does a lot of blocking on the linebackers and the defensive ends.
It is first down and 10 for Tampa Bay. Gary Huff, the quarterback. Second back through, running very high with the football is Ricky Bell. Bell has that great acceleration like all the big power backs do that are good ones. Hit, and then he just blasts his way right through it and opens it up like a sprinter. Watch him go. This guy is some football player.
Big back, just following his offensive lineman. Also Williams in there, who's blocking in front of him, picking his hole very, very well. Playing that I formation gives a little bit more time to pick out the hole because you are sitting fairly deep.
Bell has now gained 16 yards in 5 carries. Tries to go wide. Nice defensive play by the Green Bay Packers. Coming up off to make the play was Steve Luke, the strong safety out of Ohio State.
Darrell Carlton, number 70, out in front of him that time, threw a fine block.
There is the score on the Pastorini touchdown pass. Houston leading the Steelers 7-0 at Pittsburgh. Houston's the only team in the AFC Central Division that's beaten the Steelers at Pittsburgh in a long, long time. Right now they're out in front again. Three-way tie for that divisional lead. 3 clubs with 3-2 records. Houston, Cleveland, and the Steelers. Handoff. Bell gets an open gate on third down and short yardage. He gets ahead for a first down. Tom Toner hit him hard. Bell has taken some hard licks from the Green Bay Packers, but Ricky Bell is getting the money yards. They move the ball out now.
On that particular play, Carlton, number 70, took Clarence Williams and put him up in the cheap seats. He didn't even get to smell the ball carrier as he was going by. Very fine block by Carlton, number 70, who has just come in, has been in the ball game to start, but is replacing one of the injured offensive tackles for the Bucs.
1st and 10. Huff tried to swing the ball out to Anthony Davis. You saw that was a misfire. Draws some boos and stops the clock with 3:43 left to play in the first half. Packers lead the game 3-0 on a 40-yard field goal in the opening play of the second quarter by Chester Marcall.
He just shouldn't miss those kind of passes. He had Anthony out there. It was just over top of his head, whether Anthony lost sight of the ball or what, but it was there.
Second down and 10. Packer front four. Looking for the pass. They go to the run to Ricky Bell. Breaks 2 tackles. Bell almost lost the football as he cut back and got very little. Ended up with only about a yard or 2 as the Packer ends turned him inside. Buffalo now leads Cleveland 7-3 as Don Cockcroft has put the first points up on a field goal for the Browns from 41 yards out. And there is a first quarter score as Oakland is giving up a lot of points in the last 2 weeks. 14-13. 3rd and 7 coming up for Tampa Bay. 5 defensive backs in for the Packers. Green Bay leading 3-0 late in the second quarter. Gary Huff takes a look. Here comes the linebacker blitz. Huff running for his life. 2 Packers knock each other off the play. And the pass is completed. Ricky Bell makes the reception across midfield and gets the ball down to the 39-yard line. Just as 2 Packers were closing in to hammer Gary Huff, they crossed paths and Dave Purifori was knocked down hard by one of his own men. It looked like Clarence Williams inadvertently blocked him off.
Let's watch the rush by the Packers right here. As you see both men going out, knock each other off. There's the throw by Huff, who throws back off of his back, put various forces together over top of the linebacker. Ricky Bell picks it up. That is the second first down for Tampa by way of the pass.
I'm sure, Johnny, that Gary Huff saw those 2 Packers closing in on him and nobody to block him. Must have wondered what happened. He was waiting to get hit.
They ran into each other down. That's what happened to them.
2:50 to go now as the Bucs have their best drive going. Running high with the ball is Anthony Davis. He gets ahead inside the 35-yard line. A gain of 5 yards. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are getting all their running yardage, moving the ball out to the right side. The right side of their offensive line has Dana Nafziger as the tight end. He's out of Cal Poly. Jeff Winans, another USC player, is alternating at one of the guard positions. Medlin and Carlton, the former Miami Dolphin, number 70, the right tackle, is blocking well for Tampa Bay.
Anthony Davis on that short run at time last week was the leading runner for them at 83 yards against the Seahawks, and now that's most ever by a Buccaneer player. So just about anything he does from here on out, he'll be setting some type of records.
Jim Turner just hit a 41-yard field goal for Denver, so the Broncos and the Cincinnati Bengals are tied 10-10. They're in the second quarter at Cincinnati. So right now we have a timeout with no score on the board. The Green Bay Packers defensive unit being pressured now as Tampa Bay is starting to move the football on the run. This drive started at the Tampa Bay 12. Runner and Davis driving, looking to get a first down on a 2nd and 6 carry. Gets the ball close to the 30. Another 5-yard pickup on the play for Tampa Bay. Steve Luke, the strong safety, knocked down Anthony Davis, who is the all-time leading rusher at Southern California.
You see that Tampa's been running most of the time over this right side because of Carlton, who's an outstanding blocker and who's been just pushing Clarence Williams all over the field, picking up some real good yardage as he cuts back on most every play that they have. And they have been taking it to Green Bay, the offensive line doing an outstanding job. Bob.
Hey, that's a good point.
Bob.
The overmatch of Carlton.
Yeah. Bobby, get an ISO on Carlton, number 70, blocking on Williams, 83, I believe it is. Because he's just eating his lunch.
Keep those coming. That's good. Keep as many as you can give me. We've got to get those two promos, Jim, somewhere around here for the Bing Crosby thing. I handed them to you before. Johnny, you pointed out something very interesting. The key to this drive for Tampa Bay has really been the play of their right tackle, Darryl Carlton, who is moving out pretty tough on Clarence Williams at the moment.
Well, he's been taking it right to Williams, knocking him inside, outside, just about any way he wants him to go, and they've been picking up some very good yardage on his right side.
Look at this. The Jets leading Oakland 20-14 in the second quarter.
Surprise, surprise, surprise.
Apparently the Super Bowl champions have a chink in that armor. They got waxed last week by Denver, which is a great team. The Jets are not. On third down and less than a yard, Gary Huff calls his own number and moves it ahead behind his center, Dan Reisick, and his guards, Wilson and Medlin. Medlin, a former Oakland Raider. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have the first down at the 29-yard line of Green Bay. This is probably the best drive, sustained drive that Tampa Bay's ever had against a good football defense. They've had possession of the ball now for almost 6 minutes here in the second quarter. Time becoming a factor, though. We have 1:30 left to play in the first half, and the clock is running. The Packers lead 3-0. Gary Huff pitches back. Here comes Ricky Bell. This is Ed Williams turning inside, and the Packers shut him down. No gain. And Tampa Bay now calls a timeout with 1:15 left to play in the first half. So what can Gary Huff do here now? He's got 2 more timeouts remaining. He's got the ball at his 29-yard line with 2nd and 11. Gee.
Take a look at the outstanding blocking right there by Darryl Carlton, number 70. As we mentioned earlier, who was just taking it to Clarence Williams, 83. Right now with 1 minute and 15 seconds left and 2 timeouts left, he's going to have to call 2 plays in the huddle, save one of those timeouts for a field goal try, let the clock run down if they're going to go for the field goal as far as it can without letting Green Bay get the hands back on the football. But last week against Seattle, Gary Huff ran the 2-minute drill very, very well. Come up with a score right before the half.
Tonight on CBS, do nice single ladies go out alone at night? Well, Rhoda faces that problem in the episode that you'll see at 7 Central Mountain Time. And then Maria gets involved in the strangest romance since Cupid first drew his bow in a delightful new comedy, On Our Own. That's tonight on CBS. Gary Huff has a completion percentage this season of only 36%. He is 3 for 7, throwing the ball today for 45 yards. This is a 2nd and 11 play, and here come the Packers with a blitz. It's picked up. But Dave Purifori is not. And Purifori makes the big play for Green Bay as he takes Tampa Bay out of field goal range, sacking Gary Huff all the way back at the 46-yard line. And the Buccaneers call a timeout, which you see with 1:10. Look at this. Everybody's coming.
Let's watch Purifori on this. This is the Packers' 20th sack of the year. As you see Purifori coming completely clean, Huff nowhere to go but down to the turf. Green Bay really put the pressure on him that time.
Glenn Dickey has superb statistics so far today for Green Bay throwing the ball. He's put it up 10 times, has completed 7 for 98 yards, has not been intercepted. Now the clock starts up. Apparently they did not call a timeout. Here is Huff taking a look deep, puts the ball up. Man is open. The tight end Knopflinger catches the ball. Knocked down at the 34-yard line. And now Tampa Bay stops, but no, they do not. It's still running. There you see it winding down as Tampa Bay, at their leisure, are going into formation. Still running. Now they call a timeout. The 4th down coming up. They're letting the clock wind down. Started to send their field goal unit out. The field goal unit is out there now. Their kicker is Alan Levitt, a rookie out of Georgia, who hit very nicely last week.
He's done a fine job, and they think that they have their kicking problems solved by the addition of Levitt, who has been very, very strong for the Tampa Bay team.
Seattle's given Miami a run here, John. They got 14-10 score. The Dolphins in the lead in the second quarter as Myers just passed to Largent.
Myers did an excellent job last week against the Bucks here. He threw the ball all over the lot for them.
Zorn's still hurt, huh?
Zorn's still hurt. Talked to him last week. He has a ligament sprain, and he should be back within another week.
Now Alan Levitt will be trying a 51-yard field goal attempt, if in truth it is an attempt. The holder is Green. He can throw the ball, and he's kicking it into a gusting wind. So we'll see if he does go for the field goal attempt. He hits it, and he's going to be way short. He's way short. It is no good, and so the Packers will take over the football at what was the line of scrimmage on that field goal attempt from outside the 20. It was the 34-yard line, and so Green Bay will have 28 seconds on the second quarter clock with which to work. Packers holding to a 3-0 lead, although they have dominated statistics until that last possession by Tampa Bay, when they moved the ball out from their own 12-yard line all the way down the field with possession of over 7 minutes.
Did an excellent job to it. They fine line blocking up front by Darryl Carlton. Fine running by Ricky Bell. Williams, excellent blocking. Were able to control the football for a good 3 or 4 minutes in the last drive.
Packers going with a long count. Tampa Bay going with the prevent defense. They get 3 guys out playing center field, 20 yards off the line of scrimmage, looking for Dickey to try to throw the home run ball. We have a motion penalty against Green Bay. 26 seconds left to play in the first half, and the Packers lead the game 3-0. Tony Dorsett has just run 5
Illegal
yards.
snap to center number 54. First down.
So Larry McCarron is called for the infraction, a 5-yard assessment against the Packers. First down and 15. Dorsett ran for a touchdown for Dallas, but the extra point was blocked by the Eagles, so Philadelphia leads Dallas 7-6 in the second quarter. Eric Torkelson turns the corner, gets a big crushing block, and Torkelson rips it all the way across and down to the 40-yard line, and he stops the clock with 18 seconds left, so the Packers can get themselves in field goal range with another short gainer, as Chester Markall will be working with a strong wind at his back, a gusting wind.
Look at the play, just a sweet play with Torkelson carrying the ball, fine blocker out in front of him, as you see the block made right there.
Mel Jackson.
Gets back to the outside, a fine catch by Torkelson to pick up some good yardage, and then a smart play getting out of bounds to stop the clock.
Melvin Jackson, who played for John McKay at Southern California, made the big block for the Packers, allowing Torkelson to turn the corner and rip it upfield for the big gainer. And so now the Packers have the ball at the 42-yard line of Tampa Bay, and you see the time remaining in the first half, 18 seconds. Taha and Ollie Smith are set wide to either side. Dickey fakes the draw, puts it up, man is open. He's got Rich McGeorge as tight end. The Packers have the ball down to the 26-yard line, and they quickly signal for and are allotted a timeout with 9 seconds to play in the half. Cecil Johnson made the tackle, excellent connection, as Dickey took the deep drop, stood his ground, got good pass blocking, and put it right between the 8 and the 1 on Rich McGeorge's shirt.
Not a bad throw, and
beautiful.
Rich McGeorge is a very fine tight end. I think he's one of the better blocking ends in the tight ends in the game, and we're having a complete group of people come in for the Packers, and I believe they're going to try to attempt a field goal at this time.
David Beverly is in. He'll be the holder. The line of scrimmage is the 26-yard line, so the attempt will be from 43 yards out approximately. Franco Harris has just run from a yard out for a Pittsburgh Steelers touchdown on the Oilers, and the Steelers are now locked up at 7-7 at Three River Stadium in Pittsburgh. Chester Markall ready to hit the ball now for the Green Bay Packers. 43-yard attempt. He's got enough distance. He got it. Markall is now 2 for 3, and he has accounted for all the scoring in the game so far, as with 5 seconds left to play in the first half, the Green Bay Packers annex their lead to 6-0.
Well, it's an outstanding run by Torkelson, which got him down into that area. Some good blocking, and then, of course, the pass from Dickey to McGeorge picked up enough yardage to allow the field goal kicker to come in and hit another one, the Polish Messiah.
There you go. The Messiah so far this year now has hit on 6 of 9. 4 for 6 coming in.
It's not a bad percentage for a field goal kicker.
That was a fairly long one, 43 yards. His first one was the shortest attempt of the day, only 31 yards out, but he did hit into that wind at the other end of the field and blew it off to the side. He tried to hook the ball in. Didn't have the right read on the wind. Dickey has now thrown the ball 11 times, completed 8 for 113 yards. John, you'd be proud of those numbers.
Not bad. Huff right there is 4 for 8 for just 56 yards, and he's been going mostly to his backs coming out of the backfield.
Markall kicks it off. It is picked up unwisely by Darrell Nofsinger. It would have rolled out of bounds, but with 5 seconds left, very little happens and the time runs out. And so the first half comes to an end. The Green Bay Packers on a 4-game losing streak, controlling the football in the first half. John McKay apparently registering a protest. So the Packers hold to a 6-0 lead on 2 Chester Markall field goals. We'll be back to update football all around the NFL. Okay, Bob, what do we have coming up now? We might go to New York. You tell me. Let's see those scores, gents, as they come in from around the nation and around the world. Craig Morton to Jack Dolben. That's
17 to 10.
These guys are good.
Good defense. Buffalo 7, Cleveland 6.
Don Criqui with Johnny Unitas back at Tampa Stadium. An excellent day for football. Temperature in the low 70s, clear, cloudless skies. And, Johnny, I think overall the Packer offense has displayed some of that consistency they've been missing.
They have this afternoon. Dickey has led the club well, moving the ball with short passes and the runs with Torkelson and Barty Smith. Some good offensive line play by his offensive team. I think that they played ball control most of the time in the first quarter, and it was not until late in the second quarter where the Tampa Bay team took the ball and took the play to the Packers. And the Packers, they moved the ball right down the field, did Tampa, and they looked pretty good doing it.
Unofficially in the first half, Tampa Bay had 109 yards total offense, 53 rushing, 56 throwing. Green Bay had 183 yards as Lynn Dickey, throwing the ball very effectively, hit for 113 yards, was not intercepted, and the Packers rushed for 70 yards. The 2 Markall field goals have been the scoring in this game, as the Green Bay Packers hold to a 6-0 halftime lead. We now pause for this word from your local station. Are we away? All right, cue Jim, the Florida man, ahead of time on these. We're getting this stuff late. How long does it run? Are we going to New York at all? Do you have any other fill pieces for 10 minutes? You don't have any fill pieces? Okay. Yeah, okay. We're in a music piece now. Okay, I'm going to go out and I'll be right back. Right. Good. Okay. going to have to clear this now. We're going to be going on the air. Keep that door shut, Jim. Okay, so we're moving along nicely. That was a good fill piece, and no, we won't have that much to fill. Plus, we got a good band show. Are you having any problems down there at all? What's the problem? We go to disclaimer right now. The preceding announcement was brought to you as a public service by the National Football League. Here at halftime, it is 6-0 Green Bay. Earlier, before the game, two Hall of Fame quarterbacks met up on the field as John Unitas talked with Bart Starr.
Coach Bart Starr, thank you very much for coming down with me here this afternoon. Bart, starting off with the initial ball game against New Orleans, I thought you had your offensive football team well in hand, running the ball well, throwing it well, and built up a score of 24-0 with New Orleans, and then something happened.
I think the something that happened, John, has happened to us in the second half of every game thereafter. New Orleans came out and took the opening kickoff of the second half and went right down the field and scored, and then we had a traumatic turnover. And I think that's the thing that has hurt us. Our defense kept us in that game, as you know, and we went on to win. But we have not played well in the second half, and as long as you played, you know that the great teams are able to play well in the second half, even if they're ahead. And particularly if you're behind, you've got to, and we just haven't done that.
Well, as most championship teams, you know, you always have that great defense, and I think that's what makes quarterbacks good, that they have the defense to get the ball for them. And the way it looks, the Green Bay's playing, that you're on the road to a real fine defense. They've kept you in just about every football game this year, and you really weren't that far behind where you couldn't come up with a good offense to, you know, really beat them toward the end.
That's exactly right. Our defense has played extremely well, John, and if we had done anything offensively in the last halves of those games that we just alluded to, we'd be in much better shape. Of course, we suffered a heartbreaking loss to Houston, but our defense has played very, very well.
The real thing have been the tip ball. I know the Houston ball game, you were going in for the score, and you had the tip ball, and the man ran it back 90-some yards on you. Last week now against Detroit, Len Dickey threw the ball well enough, but he had 4 interceptions and 4 tip balls. Are they putting that much pressure on him? They don't seem to be knocking him down too often.
Well, he has eluded the rush pretty well several times, John. We had a little bit of pressure up front in the pocket. Our tackles were softened a little bit last week, and they got in his face, and that's what caused a couple of tip balls. And an old nemesis of ours named Lim Barney came up with a couple of them.
He's a great player.
He really
Bart,
is.
One other thing, you know, looking at statistics and going and looking at offensive personnel and offensive football teams, I feel that there are only about 5 or 6 good offensive football teams in the whole league.
Well, right now, some are having their problems. They really are. And it's one of those things that I think the defense right now is controlling these ball games.
It sure is. Bart, thank you very much for coming down, and good luck this afternoon, partner.
Always great to be with you.
Thank you.
There you have it. Bart Starr and Johnny Unitas at halftime. And, Johnny, we see those Packers are out in the field, and here comes Tampa Bay.
Tampa ought to be ready and round up the second half here now. They've got, they're on the short end of the 6-0. Dallas 6, Philadelphia 7, New York Giants nothing, Washington 6 in the second period. Buffalo 7.
Cleveland 6. Wasn't up there, but that's what it is right now.
Then we see Denver on top of Cincinnati, 17-10 at halftime.
There's a big game in the AFC Central Division. Houston and Pittsburgh tied up in the second quarter at Pittsburgh. There's one I can't quite believe.
New York Jets 27, Oakland 14 at halftime. Todd must be throwing the ball just everywhere.
Put up 3 straight possessions. He passed for touchdowns to bring the Jets into the lead. Richard Todd, the second-year quarterback out of Alabama. People said he didn't have the stuff to be in the NFL the last 3 weeks. Looks like an all-pro. And here's Miami on the big score. Seattle 10, Miami 24 at halftime. Bob Greasy, I guess, is seeing very clearly now. Atlanta 0, Chicago 3 in the first period.
St. Louis 7, New Orleans 0 in the first period. Hank Stram team not doing too well this year. I understand Archie Manning is out.
Sprained an ankle. He's out. They have young Bobby Scott starting at quarterback today for the New Orleans Saints, a team that comes in with a 1-4 record. And here's how it looked in the first half, the breakdown.
The big difference, of course, is in the yards passing. Packers have 91, and the Bucks with 18. Overall yardage, 161 to 78. Here you see the passing attempts, 3 for 7 for the Bucks, 8 for 11 for the Packers. The offensive plays are pretty even, 29 for the Bucks and 30 for the Packers. The big difference, passing statistic, 91 to 18. Of course, the Packers are about to kick off, and receiving will be Anthony Davis and Higgins, number 81.
The ball is hit deep. That is Anthony Davis fumbling the ball in his end zone out to the 10, and down he goes. He had problems. Anthony couldn't find the handle, and he couldn't find his way upfield. And so the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will start off in the hole, trailing the Packers 6-0. Tampa Bay has the ball at their 8-yard line, 1st and 10. Davis saying, what happened? Now St. Louis is leading New Orleans 14-0. That game is still in the first quarter. Hank Stram's having a lot of problems.
This is the third time that Green Bay's been able to hold a team inside its own 20-yard line on any kind of a special team, punt or kickoff.
Handoff goes, and the Packers shut it down very quickly. Jimmy DuBose, the big fullback out of Florida, in his second year, drafted in the second round a season ago by Tampa Bay, knocked down by Tom Toner, who's starting at left linebacker for the Packers in place of injured Gary Weaver.
Again, Darrell Carlton, number 70, working on Butler, number 77 that time, and opened up a large hole for the back to get through. Carlton's doing an outstanding job, first on Williams and now on Butler.
Toner, Jim Carter, and Fred Carr back the line for the Packers. Buchanan and McCoy at the corners. Luke and Gray are the safeties. Fire over the middle as Anthony Davis catches the ball for a good gainer on the play, close to a first down, but there is a penalty marker down in the secondary. And Darrell Carlton is really in complete control of Clarence Williams.
They haven't found anybody to whip up on him yet. He's been doing an outstanding job, both as a pass blocker. Here we have a call by the official holding against Green Bay.
Defensive holding resulting in a first down for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as Gary Huff is given his options.
Holding, defense, decline, first down.
Packers got more than 5 yards on the run, or Tampa Bay did, so they decline the penalty and get the first down on the run. 1st and 10 at the 20 for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as they trail the Green Bay Packers 6-0 early in the third quarter. All the points were put up in the second quarter. Chester Markall hitting 2 field goals, 40 and 43 yards. Huff play faking. Here comes the rush. He swings it out. The ball is caught. Incomplete. A classic hit by a guy who's put a lot of them on, Willie Buchanan. Willie Buchanan really put the hit on hard. Ed Williams had the ball in his hands.
Good play fake to Anthony Davis, held the linebackers, and you see Williams thought he had the football, but one thing he forgot to remember, as soon as that ball gets to his hands, he's going to get wrapped. He's got to put it away a lot quicker than what he tried to do that time.
That was the perfect hit by Buchanan. He got the ball with his helmet. He got all of Ed Williams, and so now it is second down coming up. Handoff goes to Anthony Davis, and the Packers close him down. Fred Carr holding his ground and making a head-on shot on Anthony Davis, a very elusive runner. So now third down is coming up. The ball is spotted at the 24-yard line. 13 minutes and 40 seconds left to play in the third quarter. Green Bay leading the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 6-0. Anthony Davis comes off the field. He's listed at 190. There was some question as to how well he'd do running off tackle on the power plays in the NFL against the much bigger defensive linemen and the linebackers. Huff throws, the ball is caught, and it will go for a first down. Darrell Knopfsinger caught the ball and spun over the 30, so he gets first down yardage.
That was a great catch by Knopfsinger, and the way to make the first down on the situation, too, because the ball was actually thrown behind him. and he had to stop his momentum, come back for the football, and then dive across the first-yard marker.
Mike Butler, Clarence Williams, Dave Purifori, and Bob Barber across the defensive front of the Packers. Down over the ball for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers is Dan Reisig. Isaac Haggins is one wide receiver. Larry Muckins out of Arizona State is the other. Two world-class sprinters. Swing pass goes out to Isaac Haggins, and he is really waffled by Buchanan. Boy, Buchanan gets the drop on. He's going to get all of you.
Well, he thought he couldn't stop the pass, so he just waited for him to catch it and then say, hey, get out of my territory. He has done a fine job back there. He's an excellent tackler once he gets a shot at you.
That tackle, though, is made 6 yards downfield at 2nd and 4. Haggins held on. He did well to do that.
That's a good down to come up with. Now, 2nd and 4 could either be the run or pass down. Let's see what they do.
Handoff goes, and Dubose runs with the ball, and the Packers stop him for no gain. Clarence Williams fights off the block. Number 83 and makes the knockdown. Williams starting for the injured Dave Roller. Excuse me, John.
It's one of the few times today that the Packers have been able to stop that run on that side. Clarence Williams, who, as you mentioned, made a fine play on it.
So now Tampa Bay, scoreless in the game so far, trailing the Packers 6-0, 11:30 to play in the third quarter, comes out of the huddle with a 3rd down and 4. Packer linebackers moving around, they might be coming. Packers come with a 4-man rush. Now it's thrown downfield, a man is open, the tight end, Nossinger, and he is all the way down to the 25-yard line. Jim Carter, the middle linebacker, was the man who made the tackle, but Nossinger had a step on him, and Huff was right there with the football.
Middle linebacker playing the tight end one-on-one all the way down the field, as we see going into the double zone, and that's the weakness of that double zone. The linebacker has got to be as fast as the tight end to cover him. He wasn't up to the job that particular time. Fine throw by Gary Huff. Great catch.
A perfect football play, and now the Tampa Bay Buccaneers mount a very serious challenge to the Packers' lead. A 37-yard gainer, and it's 1st and 10 Tampa Bay at the Pack's 25-yard line. Fake, handoff, Ricky Bell fumbles the football, and the Green Bay Packers have it. Johnny Gray got the football back for Green Bay as Ricky Bell coughed it up. And he got a lot of help doing that from the Packer defense, who really put the hit on him. Let's watch.
There's the handoff to Ricky Bell. He puts the ball away and takes a real good hit right there. By 53, Carter.
Fred Carr got him.
Fred Carr got him that time.
So the Packers have stopped the challenge.
Oh, yeah, go with McGeorge this time. McGeorge, 81.
Bob, do you have a game next week? Are we feeding the house here? The house? How about in timeouts? Well, you'll see some World Motorcycle Jumping Championship drivers doing some wild things on Saturday afternoon on the CBS Sports Spectacular at 3:30 Central Time. Some of the international jumpers competing include Gary Wells of the U.S. and Eddie Kidd of England. They'll first jump over 20 cars, then they'll jump over 22 cars for a first prize of $20,000. Then the winner will attempt a $5,000 bonus jump over 24 cars. That's 120 feet. Have you tried that, John?
Not yet. I'm going to try it next week, however.
You're thinking about that?
What I mean, I'm going to sit there and watch it.
Hey, Wednesday, that's next Saturday at 3:30 on the CBS Sports Spectacular. Now Lynn Dickey brings the Packers out of the huddle. The big drive by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers was stopped. Bell fumbled the ball, and Johnny Gray recovered for the Pack.
That's been the Bucs' problem all season long, Don, is the turnovers. They've had 12 interceptions, 5 lost fumbles, 6 counting that one right there, and that has stopped an awful lot of drives that the Bucs have put together.
Carson Long's hit a 41-yard field goal. Buffalo now trails Cleveland 13-10. On the run is Torkelson, and he is cut down trying to go to the left side. That's a tough place to run. Dave Lewis, outside linebacker, came up and filled, made the knockdown just across the 10, a gain of less than a yard. It'll be second and about 10 for Green Bay. Council Rudolph, 78, Dave Pear, 76, and Leroy Selman, 63, are the defensive front three for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Lewis, 57, Dewey Selman, 61, Cecil Johnson, 56, and Richard Wood, 54, the linebackers. Jarris White and Mike Washington, the corners. Here's a handoff. They go to the big back, Barty Smith. He took a hard hit. Coming over to hit him was Richard Wood. Got him at the line of scrimmage. Also on the play coming across was Dewey Selman, number 61. But Barty Smith got ahead for good yardage. It brings up 3rd down and 3.
Torkelson so far is 10 for 63 yards, Bell 9 for 29, and Davis 6 for 15. Torkelson has been the workhorse for the Packers so far, especially with that splendid run right prior to the halftime.
Askson is in as another tight end now with McGeorge. Power formation for the Packers on 3rd down and a long 2. Pitch back. Torkelson knocked down for a loss. As Tampa Bay, with a lot of defense, shuts down the Green Bay Packers. Back coming up with a net 5 yards on 3 plays from scrimmage, and a Tampa Bay Buccaneer is down.
I don't understand that play, trying to go wide without someone out there to block that defensive back who came up to make the play. Very fine play by number 45, Jarris White, on that. There he's limping a little bit. It was excellent play. I thought that Green Bay might go off tackle or somewhere straight ahead, but rather than go outside. Let's watch the play here as you see Jarris White coming up on the outside, no blocker on him, and makes the stop.
A lot of blockers on Dave Lewis. 2 of them. So now Dave Beverly is in the game to punt, working with the wind behind him. Jarris White being helped off the field. Isaac Haggins is now back deep for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, as David Beverly, who's not a long-distance punter from a yardage standpoint, but he's one of the best in the NFL in preventing returns. He gets a lot of trajectory on his punts. Hit one today, 61 yards deep. Called back, though, on a penalty.
He's leading the league with a 42-yard average.
Way up, 6 yards up from his average a year ago. He didn't get too much on that one. Ball takes a roll, though, for Beverly and the Green Bay Packers down to the Tampa Bay 42-yard line. Now Tampa Bay's offense, which last time they had the ball, moved 67 yards, only to come up short with a fumble. At the Green Bay 10, comes back out on the field. We have 8:47 left to play in the 3rd quarter here at Tampa Bay. The score, the Packers 6, the Buccaneers nothing. Tonight it is Rhoda at 7 Central Time on CBS. The dilemma this evening, do nice single ladies go out tonight alone? And we'll also see On Our Own, a brand new comedy debuting tonight on CBS. On Our Own and Rhoda tonight on CBS. Rhoda at 7 Central and Mountain Time. We have 8:47 to play in the third quarter. This is Don Criqui with Johnny Unitas at Tampa, Florida. Now some clouds have blown in. The wind has picked up. Temperature about 70 degrees. It's not a factor as far as a wearing attrition on the players. You can get some very hot weather here. Jimmy DuBose runs with the ball. Power run gets out across the 46. Dave Purifoy made the stop. That's got to be tough, Johnny, on an offense to move the ball as well as Tampa Bay has done now late in the second quarter, now in the third quarter, only to come up short when you get down there.
Oh, it's just disheartening because you take the football down there and you know you're going to score. You're within field goal range at least at that time. Then you come up with a fumble, and that's what's been happening to them all year long. They've had 18 turnovers so far this season.
Ed Williams is the up back. Ricky Bell is now in. They have 2 fullbacks in the game. They're going to power formation. Bell is the second back through, and the Packers have him closed right down. Very nicely done. Bob Barber was on the play. Ezra Johnson, another of the Packers' #1 draft choices, 78. Also on the hit, Jim Carter on the play as it'll bring up a 3rd down and 8. Balls at the 45-yard line. Atlanta and Chicago are tied 3-3. That game is in the second quarter. Nick Nickemeyer just hit a field goal. There's Gary Huff's numbers, 8 for 12 for 104 yards. Firing away his best show.
And his favorite receiver so far is Nafsinger with 3 catches for 54 yards. We might take a look at him this play. It's a passing situation. They may try to go to Nafsinger.
Purifoy was shaken up. He's staying in the game apparently. Now it looks like he's coming out. The St. Louis Cardinals are tearing up the New Orleans Saints right now. Early in the second quarter, it is 21-0. Wayne Morris has run for 2 touchdowns. Jim Hart's thrown to Mel Gray. It's not easy to lose in this league. Hank Stram, who was 4-10 in his first season as coach of the Saints, looked like he's going to have a much better club, a 5-1 preseason. And then losing to the Pack on opening day, it has been a downhill show except for the one big win at Chicago. 5 defensive backs are on the field for the Green Bay Packers. 3rd down and 8 for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Lewis Carter, one of the better catching backs, swings out. Swing pass goes to Williams. And he is close to a 1st down, but not quite there, it doesn't appear. On 3rd and 8, he came up about a half-yard short. On the tackle for the Packers was M.C. McCoy. Now the boos come out as John McKay has got to play the percentage and send his punter out midway through the third quarter in a 6-0 game. They don't make the 1st down. The Packers get the ball at midfield.
Morris Owens, who last week caught 9 balls for 166 yards, so far today has only 1 reception for 10 yards. Kind of unusual.
Johnny Gray is back deep for the Green Bay Packers. Ball is blocked. The punt was blocked by the Packers. This will be Green Bay's football at the 25-yard line. Jim Gueno was the guy who got it. Jim Gueno is credited with the block of the punt. He got all of it. Gueno, a Tulane linebacker. Now in his second year, busted through, and Jimmy DuBose was shaken up. There's 2 players down. The punter's down. You block the punt, you can just wipe out the punter, and that's what happened there as Gueno came. He wasn't picked up. He just shot a gap. Packers saw something in game films.
He just came straight through clean, and the kicker was a little slow getting the ball off, but I don't know how much faster he could have gotten it off. Let's take a look at it right now. As you see him shooting through, there comes Gueno right there on the screen. Catches his leg as he goes by him, and evidently he twisted it for him. It was a good play right there to save a touchdown, though.
Oh, that was Ezra Johnson coming in and hitting DuBose when he recovered the ball, but it's the Packers football when we come back inside the 25. What a game. Yep. Back now, we'll watch the block at the punt by Jim Gueno of the Packers as he comes in and hits Green after he gets the ball. Green was knocked down. They came out to take a look at his right leg. And then DuBose, who just was falling on the ball, 35, was also shaken up. Green comes off. He's all right. And DuBose went off under his own power, a bit wobbly. And so we go back to the action now. And the big play by special teams man Jim Gueno of the Packers. Green Bay has the ball, 1st and 10 at the 24-yard line of Tampa Bay. The Packers lead the game 6-0 on 2 second-quarter field goals by Mark Halls. But now they're threatening here in the 3rd quarter. Hand off to Barty Schmidt. Like one of the Selman boys, Dewey Selman, the middle linebacker. He was drafted in the 2nd round, picked after his brother was the #1 draft choice of Tampa Bay and the #1 draft choice in the entire NFL. Tampa Bay winning the flip of the coin with Seattle, getting the 1st selection.
Good selection it was, too. Both of those brothers anchored that defense very, very well, along with Dave Pierre over the middle. That time there was not a hole right there for Smith at all.
They do have a good, this team isn't that far from being a good football team, Tampa Bay. A little more offensive line. They got the running backs now. Dropping to throw is Dickey, looks into the end zone, lost it, man is open, Bataha. A little too much on it. Bataha had the cornerback beaten. Curtis Jordan was covering him, number 25, and Bataha had a step on him, but the ball came in a little long.
Middle inside is a post corner move, and Dickey just hangs the ball up just slightly too far for Bataha to get to it. He would have liked to have been about 3 more inches taller, and he would have had that without any problem. Boyd Dollar, I know, had that in his hip pocket.
Yeah, that was easy money for a guy 6'5". Bataha's about 5'8". 3rd and 9 now coming up for Dickey and the Packers. Let's see what the throw is here. There's a blitz. Dickey dumps it off. There's the penalty marker down in the end zone. We're going to have an interference call, and I think it's going to go against Tampa Bay. It is, or is it? Might be against the Packers. One of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers is out there clapping.
You see the
unwisely.
I believe that was on Richard Wood. He was hanging all over Torkelson coming out of that backfield. He didn't want to let him get ahead. Let's take a look at it. Dickey going back. He almost gets creamed from his blind side. As he sees Torkelson, he tries to get rid of the football. There's Wood hanging all over Torkelson.
And so it is a 1st down on the infraction for pass interference against Tampa Bay and the Packers on 3rd and 9, coming up short on the pass, but with a 1st down on the penalty. They had the ball 1st and 10 of the 17-yard line of Tampa Bay. Green Bay 6, Tampa Bay nothing. 5:35 to play in the 3rd quarter. Here comes Torkelson as a penalty marker goes down. Another big block by Mel Jackson, 71. Who was out in front along with Concar. Dewey Selman made the tackle, but there was a marker down, John.
That's one of the great old plays for the old-time Packers, a Packer sweep right, a Packer sweep left, pulling everyone outside. Torkelson makes it go fairly good. Not quite as good as Paul Horney, however.
The horn wasn't bad.
He wasn't bad. I'll tell you, when he got down in this area, he could smell that goal line, brother, and he knew where to go with it.
One of the great plays in football, the Packers' 36 sweep to the weak side. Once against the Giants in the championship game, they ran it 29 times, 13 times in a row.
Encroachment, left tackle, defense, 1st down.
Atlanta's now gone in front of Chicago 6-3. You can count on one thing. Atlanta's not going to score too much, but you're not going to get many on them. They got a good defense. Pittsburgh leads Houston 13-7. Bradshaw threw to Stallworth for 49 yards and a touchdown, but they missed the extra point. 1st and 5 for Green Bay. Leroy Selman left early. They'll get him on an offside. The Packers get more than 5 yards on the run. Green Bay looking to put that ball in the end zone. They've not had much success scoring touchdowns this season after that 1st half at New Orleans.
They sure have not. They've played, I think they've played fairly well today. Their offense has moved the football. They've controlled the line of scrimmage and moved it pretty much at will. Only a few times as the Buck defense stopped them. We have an offside penalty against Selman. A little over-anxious. Wants to get into the play a little quicker than he's allowed to.
Lynn Dickey has thrown the ball in this game 12 times. Has
Offside,
completed 8.
number 63, defense, first down.
Another penalty against Tampa Bay. Dickey is 8 for 12 throwing the ball for 113 yards. He's been intercepted once. That was that long pass that Mike Washington picked off.
Torkelson has been their big runner, 13 attempts, 70 yards. Good hard-nosed football player Torkelson is. Not very, very fast, but knows where to go with it.
So now the Packers have the ball pretty much point blank. First and goal at the 7. They've been moving the ball off the right side. Lynn Dickey sets his alignment. Second back through is Torkelson. Working his way down to the 5. Got a couple of yards for Green Bay. It'll be second and goal from there. Dewey Selman got him. Dave Lewis was also on the stop for Tampa Bay. As the third quarter clock shows 5:10 to play and it's running. Packers lead 6-0, but they're challenging now for what might be the first touchdown of this game. You've got to consider, Johnny, that Minnesota came down here and was able to put up a total of 3 field goals in beating Tampa Bay 9-3.
Their defense has been playing that well all year long, with the exception of last week when they had a little bit of a letdown against Seattle. Seattle just moved the ball at will.
Torkelson on a big block by Jackson, and it's a touchdown for the Packers. Boy, I tell you that, Jackson's a football player. He moves out quickness of one of the backs, and then he just blasts guys.
I tell you, he's so big coming out there, a defensive halfback cannot see around him. Watch the block by number 71 right there. Torkelson taking it inside, going over top of his own man, in for the touchdown. Very fine block by Melvin Jackson.
Torkelson will sacrifice his body for the love of the game. He's a diver. Mark Hall looking now to put up the 13th point of the game for Green Bay. He does. Just swings a little 9-iron up, bangs it through, and it's a 13-0 game. Packers with 4:44 left to play. In the third quarter, the Green Bay Packers have taken command of the football game.
Your hand. Right. Offensive play is 4, total yardage 24. Okay. Let's go with Knapsinger on the ISO when you come up.
Back at Tampa Bay, the Packers have just put up their first touchdown, the first of the game. They lead 13-0 as Markall kicks it off. This might go the distance. Isaac Haggins breaks it out to the 50-yard line, and none other than Mr. Markall was there to save 6 points. Haggins had an open road right up the middle of the field.
I thought he should have continued to go, because let's take a look at it. Watch the blocking, and Haggins really has some great speed, some good blocking up front as the whole middle opens up right there as you see it. Now here's where I thought he could have just kept on going, because he really has some good speed.
Anthony Davis is the deep back in the I set as Tampa Bay might be putting the ball up now as they look to get points. Down 13-0. Here is the fire. The man is open. The ball is caught by Larry Mucker, wide receiver from Arizona State, running the post pattern. You got to want the ball to take it like that. He knew the defense was going to get him, and they did.
This is the pass that was Gary Huff was throwing last week against Seattle, right across the middle, right coming between the two zones, between the linebackers. Here we see a look at it right here as Larry Mucker comes to the inside, a perfectly thrown ball by Huff, and the tackle was perfect as well.
A 16-yard gain on the play, and so now the Tampa Bay Buccaneers start to mount somewhat of a challenge. They have the ball first and 10 at Green Bay's 34. Packers close that run down. Packer Lyman reading the run very nicely. They've turned it in for the most part here in the second half after Tampa Bay was moving to the outside pretty well late in the second quarter. Chuck Muncie's just run for a New Orleans touchdown. That game is now 21-7. Cardinals leading the Saints. A lot of time left in the second quarter. Gary Huff brings his team out. Open set in the backfield. Huff takes a look again. He's got to hurry, puts it up. A man is out there, but the ball is thrown too far. Isaac Haggins working on M.C. McCoy. Was not close to a connection as the ball went out of bounds.
Ball was thrown short. He was rushed from his left side that time, and had to get rid of the ball a little earlier than he really wanted to. I would expect him possibly come back with something coming across the middle.
Big NBA game next Friday night at 10:30 Central Time on CBS. The Philadelphia 76ers and the Portland Trail Blazers. The two teams that met for the NBA title in the championship series. With, of course, Portland winning that game. Julius Erving you'll see Friday night. Johnny Gray threatens the blitz. He's going to drop off. Gary Huff says, I don't like the looks of that defense. I'm going to take one of my timeouts. You don't like to use those, but it's better than getting yourself knocked down for a 10-yard loss when you drop the throw. Somebody's coming uncovered.
That kind of situation makes me wonder whether or not they have a checkoff system or an audible system from the line of scrimmage that allow them to do that, to pick up that safety blitz. If they don't, that certainly is a situation where they could use one.
Coach McKay counseling his quarterback Gary Huff. Huff is backed up by a rookie, Randy Hedberg, and by Jeb Blount, who is out of Tulsa, played with Oakland. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers need a big play very badly. Tomorrow night on CBS, you'll see the Bing Crosby special. Okay, Packers lead the game 13-0. Third and 20. Here comes the rush. Penalty marker is down as the pass is completed to Nafziger, the tight end. But we might have a holding call against Tampa Bay as the Packers were coming with a big rush. That would make it, if they went with the penalty, 30 yards to go for the first down.
Let's watch Nafziger come off the line of scrimmage as he's harassed on the side. Gets enough yardage, comes down and makes a fine catch. And then comes up with gets some extra yardage for the first down. But we look like we have a penalty against the Bucks. Let's see what the referee
Holding,
says it is.
number 79, offense, third down.
Well, that puts you back just a little further, Donald. What do you do on 3rd and 30?
Well, get that punter with the bad leg out there then.
3rd down, 20 yards to go.
13-0 Green Bay, and here is the big rush again. The long ball is thrown to Haggins. Incomplete. It was out of bounds where it came down. Oh, that's got to be frustrating on a coach like McKay, who's won 4 national championships in Southern California. Get started with an expansion team that's been close so many times. It's not like they're getting blown out. As he said during the week, it would be one thing if we were getting beat badly every week, then we'd really know we weren't ready to compete yet. But we're tight with teams like Minnesota, a lot of good teams. But the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are 0-19 in the NFL.
Well, that's their offensive really have kept them off the board. The defense has kept them in just about every football game they've played. They have not shown much offense with the exception of last week when they scored 23 points against Seattle and were able to have their best offensive game of the year.
Very nicely done punt by Green, who angled the ball to the far sideline, and it was down at about the 9-yard line. And so the Packers come out on offense first and 10, but they'll start from their own 9-yard line with 2:48 to play in the third quarter. And Green Bay leading the game 13-0. Packers led at the half 6-0 on 2 second-quarter field goals by Chester Marcall. And then, after Jim Gueno blocked the punt, the Packers got the ball and finally took it in from in close as Torkelson ran in behind Big Mel Jackson.
Outstanding blocker. Jackson has been out there all day long clearing the way for Torkelson and Smith. And on the play right before the half, he had a fine block for Torkelson, which picked up about 26 yards.
Packers, Artie Smith rambles it on out. The big Virginian is knocked down by Jarris White, but Barty Smith got ahead for almost 10 yards. In fact, he got a first down. He got 10 yards.
First and 10, Green Bay.
No real big secret on this play, just a power play off tackle, good blocking at the point of attack, and Barty Smith rambles for 10.
And a good block on the play by the other running back, Torkelson, who picked off somebody as Barty Smith gives the Packers some room to work now. First and 10 at their 20. They look to use that running game now and run the clock with a 13-0 lead. We're in the third quarter. Hand off to Torkelson, gets ahead for short yardage, out close to the 23-yard line. Richard Wood was on the stop. Now inside 2 minutes to go in the third quarter. Other scores coming in from around the NFL. Doug Coder has just run for a touchdown, and the Giants lead the Washington Redskins 7-6 in the third quarter. All right, on Championship Saturday, that tennis competition live from Mission Hills, California, including Chris Everett and Virginia Wade. The World Middleweight Boxing Championship between Rodrigo Valdez and Benny Briscoe. And the Laurel International Thoroughbred Race. Now, Barty Smith breaks off to the far side and gets out to the 28-yard line. Packers continue to run the ball and continue to control the clock as the third quarter winds down now to a minute and 22 seconds to play. Rich McGeorge and Eston are in at the tight ends as Green Bay puts in its power front for the short yardage. Laurel International also coming up on Saturday, November 5th. Outstanding thoroughbreds from around the world will be competing in that. All on CBS. 1 minute to go in the third quarter. Third and less than 2. Torkelson gets it, tries to go behind Jackson, and again, Tampa Bay's defense does the job. Dewey Selman, 61, and Curtis Jordan got the gaps.
Let's take a look at it. Watch Selman as he comes in and just knocks everyone out of the way, including Torkelson, the ball carrier.
Fine defensive play by Selman. Leroy and Dewey are on the play. When Leroy hits him, they take off like rubber balls. Boy, he is a thumper. 6'3", 260. The Selman brothers from Eufaula, Oklahoma. Lucius is around here somewhere. He was down here playing last year. Here's the long kick downfield. Haggins takes a look, gets one nice block, now another, and now the Packers hem him in. Green Bay has played well on special teams, accepting the near breakaway for a touchdown. On a kickoff following Green Bay's only touchdown of the game. That was when Chester Markall made the hit on Isaac Haggins when he had one man to beat, and that was Markall. So Tampa Bay, again, after driving down the field 3 times in this game, getting in field position to score, unable to do so. One time, you'll recall, they fumbled the ball, Ricky Bell at the 10-yard line. Another time, last time down, they were knocked back by holding penalties and ultimately had to punt the ball. This will be the last play of the quarter. Gary Huff takes a look. Big rush against him. Swings it out. Got his man, Ricky Bell. And Bell is out to the 30. Got only a yard as the third quarter winds out. The gun sounds at the end of the third quarter with the score. The Green Bay Packers 13. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers nothing. We now pause for a word from your local station.
Falling asleep. No offensive team. I have a problem with my arm. It's this dude here. How many operations did you have? Who did it? Oh, the best guy in the country, McConnell.
Who are we going with? Oh, let's try, put it on Owens one time. Let's see if they don't hit him. Is he in there? Yeah. He's only caught one. About due for something.
with Johnny Unitas. This is Don Criqui back at Tampa, Florida. Next week you'll see in different parts of the country the Vikings and the Falcons from Atlanta. The Redskins and the Eagles go after it at Washington. Chicago and Green Bay, always a good one, next Sunday. The Lions and the Cowboys meet up. Los Angeles plays at New Orleans, and Tampa Bay heads out to San Francisco. That's regional coverage of National Football League action here on CBS next Sunday, October 30th. We're ready now to open the fourth quarter as the Green Bay Packers have a commanding 13-0 lead. Tampa Bay with the football first and 10 at their 30. Huff taking a look. Oh, almost. Hey, was that ball caught by Knopfsinger? Incomplete. Got it on the one hop. Steve Luke came up. He almost had an interception on the ball. The Jets now lead Oakland in the fourth quarter, 27-21. Stabler has just thrown to Blitnikoff.
Good blocking by the offensive line of the Bucks. There's the throw. Ball is low to Knopfsinger. Almost, he thought he caught it. Couldn't pull the official right on the play.
The Packers go to 5 defensive backs on third and long yardage for Tampa Bay. 3rd and 8. Huff, big rush against him, fires away, and the nearest Packer to it was the free safety, Johnny Gray. As Gary Huff never saw that ball come down incomplete. He was looking right up at the beautiful Florida sky.
Just count those stars up there, son.
Ezra Johnson got to him. Packers had a good draft. Butler and Johnson are 2 first rounds, are very high on. Cook, who came in the 2nd round, I think is going to be outstanding in the offensive line. Johnny Gray is back deep now for the Packers at his 30. Downfield the ball goes. With the ball is Johnny Gray, dancing and weaving. He is out to the 42-yard line and knocked down there. And the Packers will take over the ball now as they are looking for that ball control offense. Their big offensive line comes out. Done a big job today for Green Bay. Right now we're going to have a pause in the action with 14:40 left to play in the game, and Green Bay continuing to lead it 13-0.
Why don't you key on Melvin Johnson this time, number 71, Jackson, see what he does. Nothing else is interesting. Of the offense. Yeah. If you can get him. Okay.
Bob, you haven't been hitting the Buccaneers. We are set to go now in the fourth quarter. The Green Bay Packers with the ball, 1st and 10 at their 41-yard line. They hold to a 13-0 lead. Wind is very much a factor. Tampa Bay has to pass when they get the ball, trailing by 13. The Packers want to control it on the ground. Winds are gusting, makes it difficult to hit the long ones, and Tampa Bay needs those to get back in this. Handoff goes to Barty Smith. Straight power play off the left side.
Barty Smith on the carry.
Miami now leading Seattle 24-13 in the fourth quarter at the Orange Bowl in Miami. It was a gain of just 2 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 8. Dewey Selman was on the stop.
Still 14 minutes to go, and I expect the Packers to try to maintain control of the football, ground control, and eat that clock up, Don. Occasional throwing the football.
Dickey with a swing pass out to Steve Odom. A nice, very nicely done wide receiver screen. Good play fake into the line, faking the run, and then triggering it out quickly. The blockers were there.
Melvin Jackson, number 71, again coming out and helping Odom on the play. It was a quick screen to the outside receiver who has to wait for his offensive men to come out so he can follow him up the field.
Bart Starr and Zeke Bratkowski pleased with the proceedings at this point. Their quarterback, Lynn Dickey, has thrown 13 times, has completed 9 for 120 yards. Gary Huff has hit 10 of 18 for 122 yards. 3rd and 1. The big back gets the ball, and he gets the money yard. Marty Smith runs ahead for a first down to the 48-yard line of Tampa Bay.
Good blocking by the offensive line, just knocking down the defensive line of the Bucs, enabled Marty Smith to come out and pick up the first down. Just hard-nosed football. That type of football is like maybe you haven't been around as long, like little single-wing type stuff right there. Number 71, Melvin Jackson, in on a fine block.
Cook and Kolkowski, people just moving out. Orange shirts in front of them. 1st and 10 for the Packers at the 48-yard line of Tampa Bay. Second back through is Torkelson, and he is stopped cold. Might have gotten a yard. Off the bottom of the pile is Dave Kerr, the middle guard, in his 3rd year from Washington. But the Packers continue to run the clock. 2nd down and 9 coming up now for Green Bay. 12:20 to play in the game. Packers in the lead, 13-0. This might be a good time to burn them. Throw deep, you think so?
Anytime's a good time to throw deep.
You weren't against that, were you?
No, I love it. Nobody get loose, let me hit you.
Yep, that's what Dickey might be thinking. He gets it to Torkelson. Look at the one put on him by Dewey Selman. Those Selman brothers don't hit, they detonate. I'll tell you one thing.
That's the price you pay when you come across that middle, but I'll tell you what, Torkelson, I don't know whether he's walking off the field or what, or is he just dazed? Let's watch him come across the middle there as he catches the ball and Dewey catches him.
What a hit. Dewey's 6'1", 250.
That's unfair.
Swing pass out to the tight end, McGeorge. Good defensive play, and the Buccaneers say they got the ball. And so does Dick Jorgensen, the referee. 11:18 to play. They're working with the wind at their back in the 4th quarter.
Well, that's good. Good recovery by the Bucs as a break for them because everything so far today has been going away from them. This is a quick screen to the tight end. McGeorge, as you see him set up the block and then drop back to his outside. Melvin Jackson, who's coming out there to block, cannot get out there soon enough to stop the defensive linebacker from coming in on McGeorge. Fine defensive play. Not only that, but they have the football.
1st and 10 at the Green Bay 48. DuBose breaks into open field, gets another block, and Jimmy DuBose is down inside the 30 and not done yet. Free football. He's ruled down. Tampa Bay's ball. But there's a penalty marker down at the line of scrimmage. And they're marching back.
They got him for offensive holding on the play. It was a quick opener, and Du Bois just broke back against the grain and picked up some real good yards, but all for naught, as someone was detected holding.
So many times you see a play come back on a clip or an offensive holding after a big gainer. Well, it probably wouldn't have been the big gain if it wasn't for the penalty. So they held the guy off from getting hit.
That's a sad note, but that's what they're out there for, to call them.
Number 51, offense, first down.
The center, Ryzik, is called for the hold. Dan Ryzik was holding, quite probably the middle linebacker, Jim Carter.
Let's take a look at it. Number 51 coming in, Ryzik, holding.
Swing pass out to Isaac Haggins. They go to the wide receiver screen. Isaac Haggins comes back the other way. Toner misses him. Everybody in the building has got a shot at Isaac Haggins. They finally knock him down for yet more lost yardage.
I've never seen too many plays like that gain yardage. Anytime you're running around back there, going against the grain, somebody's always going to be over there. Occasionally you'll be able to pick something up, But 9 out of 10 times, the best way to go is straight ahead as far as you can.
Don't get anywhere running east and west.
Except tired.
North and south is where it's at. Give it to Amici.
Say the shortest distance between 2 points is what? Don't you know anything
For
about
you, it's
geometry?
Raymond Berry.
That's right, straight line.
Tampa Bay's had 4 penalties in the second half. It's cost them 35 yards. Huff has time. This time puts it up. Ooh, very close to interference. But none is called. Willie Buchanan, the opinion of the official who was right there, made the hit just as the ball arrived. The clock is stopped on the incomplete pass with 10 minutes and 10 seconds left to play in the game. And the Packers continue to lead Tampa Bay 13-0. Green Bay is going to win a lot more football games, I think, this season.
Well, if they keep that offense moving the way that they are this afternoon, I'm sure that they will. The defense played exceptionally all year, has done a good job this afternoon. It's the offense that has been sputtering for the Packers. They have to continue to go the way they are this afternoon, and I'm sure they will, Don.
Plus, they have offense is more diverse. You're talking about the quarterback coaches are calling the plays. That's a pretty good brain trust. Bratkowski and Starr. Uh-oh, Gary Huff gets it away as he is run down and thrown down way back at the 10-yard line. Apparently, he's shaken up. Coming down to get him is a guy you're going to see a lot of, have been seeing a lot of, Mike Butler, the rookie. Huge defensive end. Boy, Tampa Bay's lost so many quarterbacks this year. Just have to hope Huff's all right.
Let's take a look at the play right here. As you see, Huff being chased out of the pocket, and he elects to try to outrun
Big Mike
Butler out of Kansas, and decides to throw the ball away. And he was really thrown to the turf.
Didn't look like he was thrown down that hard, but apparently,
probably the way that he landed down, it could have been a shoulder or anything. We'll just have to wait and see if we get some information from downstairs.
Yeah, that's what it could have been, a shoulder. You don't know, though. We'll wait and see. Just hope it isn't serious. 12 for 23. Gary Huff has thrown the ball well for 136 yards. And a great number of those throws, of course, were on obvious passing downs when the defense was really teeing off and coming after him. We have a timeout right now with an injured player, 13-0 Packers. Yes, sir. Yes, Billy. Right. Sports spec, Jim. Yeah. Yep. We're going to go to motorcycle, then junior gymnastics. Next Saturday at 3:30 Central Time, lots of action on the CBS Sports Spectacular, the World Motorcycle Javelin Championships. The Women's Junior Gymnastic Invitation. You'll see a great performer who could be a medalist at the next Olympic Games, Stephanie Willem, 13 years old from Bethesda, Maryland. They say she's going to be the matchup for those great Romanian and Soviet athletes. And also the fourth event of the decathlon in the World's Strongest Men competition, wheelbarrowing competition this week. That's next Saturday at 3:30 Central Time on the CBS Sports Spectacular. And Gary Huff, apparently it's his left side, so if he better than that in his throwing arm, but he did bang up a shoulder. Now the New Orleans Saints have rallied back, John, the 21-0 deficit, and they have just scored in a 53-yard pass, and they have tied St. Louis 21-21 late in the first half. Charlie Waters blocked the Philadelphia punt, ran it in for a touchdown for Dallas. Denver now leads Cincinnati 17-13. Punt rolls dead inside the 25-yard line. It's amazing. The Oakland Raiders, everybody was conceding now another Super Bowl until they got waxed last week, waffled by Denver 30-7. Now the Jets are beating them 27-21 in the fourth quarter.
Can't ever count the snake out. He sure can throw the football. I've never seen anyone throw it so well in a long time.
He's a dart thrower. He just zings it.
His only problem is left-handed.
Throws with the wrong arm, huh?
Yeah.
Only hit 67% last year doing that. He also threw 7 to the Denver Broncos last week. Oh, I tell you, that's a football team.
Ed Miller's done an excellent job with them. They've had a fine defense last year, too, when Ralston was out there, but Red is
not like this one.
Well, they've kind of taken them together, put them together.
They got a defense that nobody wants to know anything about that's playing against. That's like a pack of wild dogs. They are unbelievable the way they go after a quarterback.
I believe Craig Morton has solidified that offense, too, giving them some leadership out there, which they've always needed.
It is 2nd down and 8 now for Green Bay. Packers leading 13-0. Torkelson cuts back in. Jumps up and over Dewey Selman that time.
Some information on Gary Huff just came through that he has some rib problems. Don't know whether they're cracked or just bruised. They won't know before they get up x-ray, imagine. They do smart.
So we'll be seeing his backup coming in, first-year player, Randy Hedberg. Packers, of course, have a freshman quarterback, first-year player out of Furman as the backup now to Lynn Dickey and David Whitehurst. 3rd and 4, draw play. Torkelson didn't get there. Tampa Bay read it, knocked him down at the 33, and so the Packers will punt the ball back to Tampa Bay with 8:25 to go in the game. Mr. Yu.
Hedberg from Mr. Minot. Here's a good look at Gary Huff with a nice pack on the ribs, and they kind of hurt. Very difficult to throw with them. So we will see Mr. Hedberg from Minot. Why not Minot?
Randy Hedberg from Minot State. Isaac Haggins is back deep now for Tampa Bay as Beverly's ready to hit the ball into the wind. Angles it nicely. Makes a hop out of bounds inside the 30. Penalty marker is down. .752 left to play in the game, and let's see what the penalty marker is, Johnny.
Well, probably someone downfield before he was allowed to be, or blocking downfield before the ball was kicked. That's the general one down there. We'll have to wait to see what the officials come up with.
Got the Packers playing the Chicago Bears next week. A face mask penalty is signaled against Tampa Bay.
Well, I don't know how you'd get a face mask penalty on a punt, do you? Wasn't any run back.
No. Somebody was reaching and got caught. It came after the punt. Tampa Bay's offense stays out, but they'll have the ball first and 10 at their 18-yard line. Talking about the Green Bay Packers and the Chicago Bears is one of the great rivalries. How about the matchups you had? The Baltimore Colts and Green Bay.
We had a lot of fun times out there with Herb Adderley, Forrest Gregg.
How about our friend
Mr. Nitschke?
Paul Horning running through you for 5 touchdowns.
I didn't play that game.
Oh, you weren't in there on defense. Horn won't let you forget that.
That was the day in the fog.
He remembers that vividly. Now Oakland has come back to take the lead over the Jets with 8 minutes to play in the fourth quarter. Stabler has thrown to Mike Siani. He must have heard you, John. 28-27. And Cleveland leads Buffalo 20-16. A 91-yard return of a blocked punt by Keith Moody gave the Bills a touchdown.
Well, seems to be some kind of a controversy down there on the field.
Yes, there does. See if we can pick it up.
Let's flip a coin if you don't know what to do.
Giants continue to lead Washington 7-6 with 4.5 minutes to go in the third quarter at Washington. Jim Carr out there, that left forearm and the right one well taped. As you know, he missed most of last season with a fracture of his right forearm. Season before that, he broke a leg. Playing excellent football now that he's back.
The only drawback of the Green Bay Packers linebackers are the speed. They don't have the speed that they would love for them to have. They do an excellent job, but they do lack the speed that most linebackers have in a National Football League.
They're bringing it back now. And hopefully Dick Jorgensen will give us elucidate a little bit more on just what has transpired. We've seen the football go up and down the field along with 22 players. Here it is.
Face mask, number 23 on the kicking team, while the ball was in the air. 4th down.
That was Terry Randolph, called for a face mask while the ball was in the air. Neil Graff has gone in to replace Terry Bradshaw in the Pittsburgh-Houston game. Injury to the wrist again of Bradshaw. Beverly hits the ball nicely downfield. Haggins on the run, and there are Packers to get him on, but Thompson can't get to him. Here's a penalty marker down as Isaac Haggins, and now we start to heat up. Nothing worthwhile comes of that.
Well, the Bucs are trying to do everything they possibly can to try to get this offense moving and get something on the board. We have a clipping penalty or what? There's a run. There's Haggins. There looked like it may have been a clip over there on the side.
This is a natural grass field at Tampa Stadium. It's in such good shape from high above. It looks like artificial turf.
That's what they ought to have all over the place is natural grass.
A horse can't eat at you on a planet, eh? Like Richie Allen.
The other stuff is hard to smoke, too.
Personal foul, clipping,
I'm not touching that one.
team, 1st down.
7:41 left to go in the game. It is 13-0 the Green Bay Packers. It has now become an overcast sky, intermittent sunshine. Wind is up and down. You're never quite sure what you're going to get in the Tampa Bay area. New quarterback is in. Hedberg, as Huff was shaken up. Hedberg puts it up, going for John McKay. He was open. Hedberg got level. Packers are taking no prisoners with that defensive unit.
Purefoy in on him that time and hit him just as he was throwing. McKay was completely open and coming across the field. It was just a matter of pitch and catch and that kind of situation. And the pitcher just was not up to the job.
Look at this Purefoy. He gets a clean shot. Oh, man.
Oh, did I hurt you, honey?
Got an ornery streak in some of those big Packers out there.
Oh, they don't like quarterbacks.
Here comes Butler. Oh, man. He got the ball away and completed it. But Hedberg was flattened by Mike Butler.
I wonder whose turn it's going to be next. Purefoy first, then Butler.
This Tampa quarterback could sue for non-support.
I say, if they're going to take that long to throw, we better start throwing some short, quick stuff. Maintain control of that football. We got to get some points. Watch the hit right here by Butler. Perfectly legal. No way to stop that 260 pounds in midair, is there? Unless you have a gun back there.
She had very quick feet. Hedberg did not on that play. Has stood right in there and completed the pass, though. It's going to be 3rd down and about 5. Gets it away again. 1st down pass. It's all right. Not giving any ground. He's staying right in. He drilled it to his tight end, Nofziger. Dana Nofziger, a rookie from Cal Poly. Watch again now as Hedberg delivers.
Hedberg 6'3", 200, so he's a good-sized young man himself. He can stand a little bit of that punishment. Fine throw. Fine reception for the 1st down.
Hedberg was drafted in the 8th round out of Minot State in North Dakota. Passed for over 5,700 yards as a collegian, which means nothing to you or to me, but it's almost intercepted. MC McCoy almost had him 6. So sure was he of going for the touchdown. He forgot to catch the ball.
That's a tough throw by Hedberg. He's way on the right hash mark, and he's trying to throw a 15-yard sideline clean across field. Now that's like about a 48 to 50-yard pass across field, trying to pick up 15. And if that defensive back is anywhere near the offensive receiver, you might have to make a tackle.
Kind of wishing you had a string of those and you let him go. Here comes Hedberg again on 2nd and 10. He gets it away. McKay with a great reception. Young John McKay. gets the ball at the 46-yard line.
Again, the same pass before that was thrown too far in front of McKay. There's McKay coming across. Watch the excellent
That's a football
move
kick.
right there by McKay to come back for the football. What you call body control.
John McKay, a great high school player, Mater Dei High School in Southern California. His quarterback was Pat Hayden, who now quarterbacks the Rams. The most sought-after combination around in those days. Here's Hedberg. He's all right, Hedberg. He puts it up. Oh! McKay disappointed, but McKay had to look for his footing because he would have come down out of bounds.
Knapsinger still the leading receiver for Tampa. His 4 catches of 60 yards. He's the one that cut the one down the middle on the middle linebacker for the Green Bay Packers. Hedberg staying right in that pocket, and they're adding a little bit more protection for him.
They are. They're tightening it up. They're holding the backs in. He's just going to wide receivers. Got to hold the backs. They're picking the blitzes up. Hedberg drills it. But Haggins made an in move, and Hedberg was looking for an out move just before the lights went out again.
Well, someone was on the wrong page somewhere. Right church, wrong pew, they say, right?
Bob Barber was the guy that got Hedberg.
There's Hedberg setting up. Let's watch Barber coming in right there. Woo, does he hit him? That's what threw that ball off.
6'3", 208. We come out of this thing about 6'1", 208. 5 defensive backs in for the Packers in a prevent defense. 3rd down and 10 for Tampa Bay at the 46-yard line of Green Bay. Packers lead 13-0 in the 4th quarter. Bob Barber gets his man. So down goes Randy Hedberg, and the Tampa Bay attempt at a 3rd and long comes up way short. Substantial loss, and the punting unit is out. 5:54 to play.
There's Barber again. Hedberg had no shot whatsoever. Good rush by the Packers, and that's about the 22nd or 21st sack of the afternoon.
How about of the season? Not quite.
Oh, excuse me. The way they've been hitting them around there, it seems like this afternoon.
They put at least 21 hits on the quarterbacks. Here is the hit downfield on the punt. Gray at the 20. Looks to go outside. Here's some blockers. And the Packer offense comes out. 13-0. Green Bay leads the game with 5.5 minutes left to play, and we'll have a timeout on the field as Lynn Dickey, who has thrown the ball 15 times and completed 11 for 116 yards, brings the offense back out.
I would stay with McGeorge or Torkelson, one of those backs back there, because they'll just be blowing them out. They're going to try to stay on the ground, I'm sure. If you want to get some good defensive play, get on Selman.
Yes, sir, Billy. Gotcha, Bobby. Championship Saturday, November 5th here on CBS. You'll see Chris Evert and Virginia Wade competing in the championship of women's tennis live from Mission Hills, California. The World Middleweight Boxing Championship live. Rodrigo Valdez versus Benny Briscoe. And the big thoroughbred event from Laurel in Maryland, the Laurel International. That's Saturday, November 5th, Championship Saturday here on CBS. This is Don Crickey with John Unitas. You see the Browns and the Bills in the 4th quarter at Buffalo. Cleveland leading 20-16. Green Bay is leading here 13-0 with 5.5 minutes to go. Handoff goes to Torkelson. I'll tell you one thing, that Leroy Selman hits you. Guys come down in pieces.
He came right down the line on that one and got a good shot at Torkelson.
Hits so hard. Watch him. He drives that shoulder, and he's a knockout hitter.
There's Selman coming on a pursuit pattern as Torkelson's breaking back. Selman is going to hit, boom, right there. Good morning, Mr. Torkelson. He is an exceptional defensive player.
Going to give Eric a little extra time in the whirlpool tomorrow after Green Bay. Taking some hops. Here comes Barty Smith. This is a game for men, I'll tell you that, the National Football League.
That's why I got out.
14 years later, huh? Now we have the ball down at the 25-yard line. And big crowd staying with it. Boy, they got some following. This is a great franchise. This team starts to win, it's going to be a super franchise. Brian Sipe has just thrown for a touchdown, and the Browns have taken command of their game with Buffalo 27-16. The ball will be set down. Decline of the penalty. Third down coming up, and 10 at the Green Bay 25. 4:45 to play. Nathan Simpson is now in the game, number 48 for the Packers. Torkelson goes out. Simpson turns the corner, tries to jump over. Very few have won at that, except on the goal line.
He's a speedster. They put him outside, try to run that Green Bay sweep, hoping they can get to the outside. There you see him. Owakowski in front of him. He decides to go over the top instead of outside the end. Wasn't anything outside either.
And so it is now 4th down, and David Beverly is out to punt for the Packers. They might have got a little bit of that football. Big rush was on, but it does get a Packer roll, a good one. Now it's picked up by Haggins, and he's down to the 33. So Tampa Bay comes out with their offense, 3:56 to play, and the Packers still in the lead, 13-0. Green Bay led at the half by a score of 6-0 on 2 Chester Markall field goals, then scored in a run by Eric Torkelson. NBA action returns to CBS on Friday night at 10:30 Central Time. The 76ers and the Portland Trail Blazers meeting up at Portland. Now Hedberg with 1st and 10 has to come out pitching. Big rush, he gets some time, but he throws the ball errantly. Incomplete.
Poor throw by Hedberg. He did have enough time. I guess he was just rusty from inactivity. Because they are giving him some time down there now to throw. And he may remember some of those shots he took in the last offensive move that they had, trying to get rid of the ball a little quicker.
Five defensive backs again come in for the Packers. 2nd and 10. Penalty markers down all over. Hedberg throws. Isaac Haggins loses it off his fingertips, but the penalty markers are all over the field with 3:48 left to play.
And it looks like it's fixing to rain here in Tampa. Some people are starting to leave now. 3:48 left in the ball game. We'll have to see what the referee tells us about the flags. So far, Hedberg has not completed the last 2 plays.
We've got some upsets going on around the league, Johnny, although the games are not final yet.
Illegal motion, number 75, offense, decline, 3rd down.
Dave Rivas, the left tackle, illegally in motion. Denver is leading Cincinnati 24-13. The Broncos favored to win that game, but the New York Giants, a decided underdog, are beating the Redskins in the 4th quarter at Washington, 14-6. And Atlanta's leading Chicago 9-3. In the 3rd quarter, Hedberg throws. Man is open. McKay. The ball is intercepted beautifully by M.C. McCoy. They ruled his knee was down. Now that is a football play.
Boy, he's as quick as a cat. He went right up in there and took that ball away from McKay.
Looked like McKay was going to get it. I think the rain has started to fall because people are really starting to scatter.
Yeah, they were all staying here for that last offensive threat, and it kind of fizzled out.
3:39 left to play in the game. The Green Bay Packers with the football and a 13-0 lead.
It looked like it's going to have to wait another week before the Tampa Bay breaks that losing streak.
Be longer than that.
Well, they have San Francisco next week, who is not really playing good football either, so they may have an outside shot at them.
Well, they're playing at San Francisco. The Packers will be back in Green Bay next Sunday, October 30th, to meet the Chicago Bears in a 1 o'clock kickoff. While the Tampa Bay Buccaneers head out to San Francisco, the 49ers going into play today. 0-5 on the year. They have the Lions today. There's an interesting mix in that Central Division. It's going to be tough. It's always tough. What did Van Brocklin call it? The bare knuckle division. Black and blue, whatever. 3:03 left to go in the game. The clock is running. Packers have the ball. 2nd down and 6. Second back through is Torkelson. And there's nowhere to go as Dave Hare throws him back.
They'll just continue to keep the football on the ground and stay in the huddle as long as possible, using up as much time as possible. We have timeout called by Tampa with 2:51 left in the ball game. The Packers would like to make this first down. If they do that, they should be able to control the rest of the ball game in that kind of a situation. And we see the Tampa defense standing around with their hands on their hips. They've played well.
Oh, they have. That's
all
a football
afternoon.
team right
I
there.
really believe that they have. They played a lot better this Sunday than they did last Sunday against the Seahawks.
They're all young, too.
But still, they're on the short end of the score.
Leroy Selman and Dewey Selman in their second year. Dave Lewis is a rookie, one of the linebackers. Another linebacker is a rookie, Cecil Johnson.
Tampa's had 10 penalties this afternoon for 60 yards. Some penalties have really cost them some good yardage, especially on a couple holding penalties that really killed the drive.
Tonight at 7 o'clock Central Time, it's Rhoda here on CBS, and then you'll see a new show on our own. That's tonight on CBS. Tampa Bay's got one of the really good personnel people around, Ron Wolf, who was in the Oakland Raider organization for many years. It's going to be a good club. They've done it on defense, but their offense just can't get the points up, and an awful lot of that has to do with the Packer defense, which has played very, very well. Running the ball down to the 47-yard line, the Green Bay Packers content to just keep the ball moving any way they can and keep the clock moving. It shows 2:40, and it's rolling. Mr. Unitas.
The time will continue to. They'll go on now with a punt, and we'll have the 2-minute warning shortly. Of course, Green Bay may just try to hold that football, be penalized 5 yards, and let that clock run down to 2 minutes without putting the ball in play. Let's see what to do.
And the ball is angled out of bounds by Beverly. Inside the 15-yard line, and there Tampa Bay will give it one last thrust with 2:08 left to play.
They'll get one play in there before the 2-minute warning, and that'll save them a timeout. It's been all Green Bay the second half. They moved the ball pretty much at will. And then, of course, Tampa came back in the second half and drove all the way down the 10-yard line when Ricky Bell fumbled. That was their longest drive, and it was the only threat that they've had so far in the second half.
1st and 10, Tampa Bay. Randy Hedberg, a rookie, is in at quarterback. Gary Huff, the starter, was banged up, and Hedberg's going to be very shortly the licking he's taken. Boy, the Packers are just eating up the quarterbacks. They sacked Huff twice. They sacked Hedberg twice, but countless times after they've just released the ball, they've taken the brutal hits.
Well, I think you have to credit that again to the good defensive secondary play by the Green Bay Packers, who have had everyone in their hip pockets most of the afternoon.
Tampa Bay, by the same comparison, Johnny, has done quite well. They've sacked Lynn Dickey 3 times, but Dickey's had one of his best days. 11 for 15 for 116 yards. Bill Barnes will give you your direction on that, Bob. Go right to the big fella. Go right to the big fella with the cigar. The big gentleman with the cigar. Big, strong dude. Pillow. We have 2 minutes left to play in the game here at Tampa. And we'd like to thank some very fine gentlemen who've done their usual excellent work. Our producer, Bill Barnes, former All-American at Florida A&M. Bob Dunphy, happy Notre Dame graduate off that kicking of SC. Root Kopanex in from New Orleans. Here is Randy Hedberg. Packers now putting some shock troops in, and they're picking up right where the front liners left off. Steve Wagner was in covering in that play, number 21. Here's the final score in.
Final on Denver, Cincinnati, 24, Cincinnati 13.
To thank our engineer in charge, Marty Solomon. And here's it, Paul Koenig, also in our technical director. Ken Stabler, and his final touchdown pass to Mike Ciani did indeed bring the Oakland Raiders from behind. They have beaten the New York Jets barely, 28-27. A missed extra point following an 86-yard touchdown pass play, Richard Todd to Wesley Walker, was the difference in the outcome of that. So Oakland wins. They get out of there with their uniforms and a 1-point win. And they got to go to Denver next week. Randy Hedberg unloads the ball just before he is hit again. 1:52 to play.
Oakland could be in a world of trouble next week if they're playing Denver again. After Denver beating Cincinnati and then beating them last week, Denver could be sky high for that. And Oakland better be a lot higher than the sky, partner.
I know one thing. I wouldn't want to be Stabler going in there.
No, not in Denver.
Boy, there's
this
something.
time of year, you could come up with 6 inches of snow, too.
There's something, that Denver team.
Another final, Miami 31, Seattle 13. Don Nottingham on a 4-yard run.
The ball is hit out of the end zone by Green. Johnny Gray lets it take a roll.
Smart play.
Yep. 49-yard line.
It's a smart play by Johnny Gray, letting it roll. I don't know who that was. Come in there and try to make some kind of play. Steve Wagner decided to pick it up the last second. Had he dropped that and lost it, he would have been in a lot of trouble.
Let me get your names. Write out your names so I can give you credit. And the stats man. As you see, the clock is winding down now. The Green Bay Packers, a minute and 24 seconds away from their second win of the year after the opening victory over New Orleans, 24-20. The Pack losing the close games and a 4-game losing streak, and now the crowd has thinned out here at Tampa Bay. Crowd of over 50,000. Final score, the Steelers soundly beat Houston but lost their quarterback Bradshaw. We don't know for how long. Final, Pittsburgh 27, Houston 10. Our sweep, Torkelson is run and knocked down by Cecil Johnson out of National Championship Pittsburgh a season ago. And the clock now winds down, as you see, inside the final minute. And Tampa Bay will be 0-20 in the NFL. And you not to give any platitudes, but it isn't that bad a club. They're not that far away from their defense's front line.
Defense football team played well. And, we talked about that earlier in the ball game, and they've shown that they are a good defensive football team. They have to come up with something offensively in order to be able to balance this thing out, keep that defense on the field constantly during a ball game. They're bound to wear it down and finally break toward the end of the game. Green Bay has been taking it to them all day long and moving the ball. But they have been playing extremely well.
They They just called the timeout. 13 seconds left to play, so we're heading down the stretch as the Packers are that far away. 13 seconds and a 13-0 shutout win. The punt sails into the end zone for a touchback with just 3 seconds left to play. And so it is all but officially over as we have one final play from scrimmage coming up. Out onto the field is the Tampa Bay offense. Rookie quarterback Randy Hedberg, displaying a freshman's enthusiasm, sprints out there despite the fact his team is being shut out, and he's got 3 seconds to work with.
He's very fortunate he's able to sprint the way he's been teeing off on it.
Yes. As a front running quarterback, Gary Huff, was, of course, taken out of the game with bruised ribs, badly bruised ribs. Hedberg takes a look, a home run ball. His time has run out. There it goes. It is picked off to end the game. Put another interception in the book for Steve Luke, finishing the game in fine style.
Yeah, that's a freebie for Luke. He just sat back there and played center field. They went out there and called for the fair catch and went out of bounds.
So Bart Starr, surely pleased with the overall showing of his team, runs off the field, a victor for the second time this year. We'll be back at Tampa Stadium in a moment. Willie Byline, Phelan, Jim Magone, Magong. Yeah, Mike. Thanks. This is Don Cricky with John Unitas back at Tampa Stadium. The final numbers are in. Green Bay beating Tampa Bay 13-0. We'd like to thank our crew in the booth, Willie Byland, Jim Magong, and Rick Cottrell. John, the Packers now head back to Green Bay, meet up with the Chicago Bears next week. The Bears are having their problems right now at Soldier Field, losing to Atlanta 9-3.
Well, that ball game, was always a tough football game between the Bears and the Packers, and I'm sure that Bart Starr is happy about his win this afternoon, especially the way his offense finally got together and moved the football down the field. 2 or 3 long drives and killing the clock at the same time, and then of course the Polish Messiah hitting 2 field goals. And
you're big on that, the Polish Messiah.
Oh, that's big. I like him.
6 for 9 for the year. He's all right.
Not bad. It's a pretty good percentage.
6th all-time scorer.
Right. Not a bad kid on top of it either, from what I understand. But you kind of feel sorry for the Buccaneers. They played so well defensively, yet they just had a reversal of what they did last week in Seattle, where their defense kind of let them down. Their offense scored 23 points, which is the largest number of points they've ever scored since coming into the National Football League. And then, of course, this afternoon could not get the thing on track for their offense to do a job on it, so that they come up with another loss, and then Green Bay goes home with a win. It'll be a happy ride home for them, and Buccaneers will have to just cry in their beer one more time.
Let me have all the scores, please. We're going to do a recap of scores. Thank you very much, Willie. Good job. Thank you. Yeah. Well, you never know. It's a good place to come.
Okay.
Not a bad place at all, Tampa.
Fanny's.
Excellent place.
got any scores?
It's a growing place, isn't it?
Are you going to put them on there?
Okay, Billy. All right, the final score here at Tampa is Green Bay 13, Tampa nothing. Other scores from around the NFL: the Giants are now leading the Redskins in the fourth quarter, 17-6. Dallas leading Philadelphia 16-10. That game is in the fourth quarter. There's the Giants score we mentioned to you. A major upset there at RFK Stadium in Washington. Cleveland Browns leading Buffalo by a commanding margin late in the fourth quarter at Orchard Park, New York. Denver has beaten Cincinnati. Denver with a perfect record of 6-0 on the year. The Baltimore Colts, who play later today against New England, also, and Dallas with perfect records coming into today's play. The Pittsburgh Steelers have been beaten twice, but they beat Houston today 27-10. They are now 4-2 on the year. The Jets had a big lead over Oakland, but Stabler's left arm brought the Raiders back to a one-point win at Shea Stadium in New York, 28-27. Miami, a final score in. Miami winning its fifth game in 6 starts this season, beat the Seattle Seahawks 31-13. There is the third quarter score at Soldier Field. Atlanta, not much of an offense, but some defense, beating the Bears 9-3. 4 field goals account for all the scoring in that game. We remind you that the NBA on CBS returns next Friday night at 10:30 Central Time, when the NBA champion Portland Trail Blazers, led by players like Maurice Lucas and the great Bill Walton, go against the team they beat in 7 games and 6 games for the NBA title last May, the Philadelphia 76ers, with Julius Erving and George McGinnis and Doug Collins, 2 of the great teams in pro basketball, next Friday night at 10:30 Central Time on CBS. And so, from the skyline of Tampa, Florida, on an overcast day, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers record falls to 0-6 on this year, to 0-20 in the NFL. But as we said, it's not that bad a club. A lot of defense, and the Packers with a win they needed very much and got quite handily with a good overall performance. Green Bay and Bart Starr with a 13-0 victory over Tampa Bay. Now for John Unitas, this is Don Crickey. The NFL Today is a presentation of CBS Sports.